the realm of trees descends upon the Douluo Continent. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction. So please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter. And if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 26 Soul Lord. How, you can only be stubborn now. Xiaogang activated his martial soul, and 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, appeared beneath his feet. The onlookers gasped in astonishment. A 14-year-old soul master, everyone exclaimed in amazement. Ninjutsu couldn't help but worry for Li Sun upon seeing this. When Xiaogang was at level 29, she had some confidence in Li Sun. After all, Li Sun's 1000-year soul ring was there for all to see. Although it wasn't an active skill, its boost to Soul Master was undoubtedly enormous. But Xiaogang's breakthrough to Soul Master was a completely different story. He too possessed a 1000-year soul ring, and his skills were even more numerous than Li Sun's. Qin was truly terrified. He had never agreed to Li Sun challenging Xiaogang, and he could naturally conceive of what Meng Shenji could think of. With their talents, he would feel heartbroken if either of them left. If the two of them could team up for the Soul Master competition, he couldn't even imagine what kind of results their team would achieve. Xiaogang broke through to Soul Master, sigh. Li Sun's talent isn't bad either. I heard he's already broken through level 20. It's a pity time waits for no one. What a pity. Meng Shenji, Bibi Dong, and Zilan gathered together to discuss. The members of the Heavenly Dao team were also astonished, their mouths agape. As teammates, they knew Xiaogan's talent, but they hadn't expected him to reach the Soul Master level so quickly. This was no ordinary genius. Li Sun ignored the outside noise, slightly raising his right hand. The 1000-handed Buddha appeared instantly, and 2 soul rings, 1 yellow and 1 purple, slowly pulsed beneath his feet. What? This kid's second soul ring is actually a 1000-year-old one. When Li Sun's soul rings appeared, everyone present felt their scalps tingle. This was beyond their comprehension, incomprehensible. While Xiaogan's 14-year-old soul master status was shocking, such geniuses were still somewhat common. A 1000-year-old second soul ring was different. This was the first time such a thing had ever appeared in their knowledge. This means that Li Sun's physique is now comparable to that of a soul master, and it also means that the soul rings Li Sun will acquire next will definitely be much higher than the upper limit of the same level. Did Qin lead Li Sun to hunt a 1000-year-old soul beast? Meng Shenji paused in stroking his beard, even plucking out a few hairs. Qin is too aggressive. He didn't even discuss such an important matter with us. If something goes wrong, how are we supposed to explain to Ning Fengzi? Bibi Dong frowned after a brief moment of shock. Indeed, it's because Li Sun has good talent. If it were an ordinary student, they might have exploded and died while absorbing the energy. Zhi-Lin glanced at Qin and nodded. There's no need to be too harsh. Now that the result is in, my biggest worry is these 2 children. What if either of them is unwilling to accept defeat? Meng Shenji's aged face was full of worry. It's alright, at worst we'll swallow our pride and go to the 7 treasure glazed tile school to invite Li Sun back to the academy. That's the way to go. With Li Sun's talent, surpassing Xiaogang is only a matter of time. The students around the 3 instructors listened to their conversation and looked at Li Sun in shock. Judging from the instructor's words, Li Sun's talent was actually better than that of the 14-year-old soul master Xiaogang. Moreover, even if Li Sun lost the battle, they would still go to the 7 treasure glazed tile school to invite him back. Li Sun, you insulted my uncle. I will make you regret what you said. First soul skill, Thunder Dragon Claw. Xiaogang roared, his first soul ring lit up, and his hands formed claws, gathering lightning. First soul skill, Tree World Birth. Second soul skill, Amplification. Li Sun interlocked his 5 fingers to form the C seal. A crisp sound rang out, and his first and second soul rings lit up. With the release of the skill, the 1000-handed Buddha instantly threw dozens of energy fruits into the air. The fruits burst open rapidly in the air, scattering countless seeds like a torrential rain. The moment the seeds touched the earth, they instantly sprouted and grew. All of this happened in a mere second. As Li Sun finished speaking, nearly 100 small trees, each a meter tall, appeared in the arena. These trees softened instantly upon appearance, transforming into dense vines that blocked Yu Xianheng's path. Yu Xianheng, who had just lifted his foot, was startled by the sudden appearance of the vines and reacted swiftly, sweeping his thunder dragon claw left and right. Why is his first soul skill different from before? Yu Xianheng's expression turned grave. He had seen Li Sun's first soul skill before. At that time, he had considered the mere half-meter-tall saplings as nothing more than a means of restricting movement in combat. He had even looked down on it, not considering Li Sun a worthy opponent. If Li Sun hadn't been from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, he would have already taught him a lesson simply because of his close relationship with Du Yan Crack. Yu Xianheng swept his hand, severing a vine that had transformed from a small tree. He felt a slight numbness in his hand from the impact. Yu Xianheng scanned the area and noticed that the small trees were sometimes soft, sometimes hard. When soft, they were close to the ground, and when upright, they reached his chest. Moreover, their toughness was increasing daily. Even his thunder dragon claw required considerable force to cut one of them. This was after he had advanced to the 30th level of Soul Master. How, a few mere plants think they can stop me? Yu Xianheng smiled contemptuously, enduring the discomfort, and his palms crackled with even more lightning. Not enough? I'll satisfy you. Li Sun's hands formed a hand seal, and his chakra circulated within him. Nourished by the chakra, the previously inactive seeds on the ground rapidly grew, quickly replenishing the number Yu Xianheng had just broken. And that wasn't all. Dense thorns sprouted from the previously bare branches. As the thorns appeared, the small trees twisted and extended towards Yu Xianheng like vines. Second soul skill, Thunderous Might. Seeing the thorny plants wrapping around him, Yu Xianheng quickly used a group skill. Crackling, arcs of electricity crackled around Yu Xianheng, accompanied by loud noises. The surrounding thorns were instantly shattered upon contact with the lightning. HMPH. Nothing special, Yu Xianheng snorted coldly, taking advantage of the gap in his second soul skill's release, and quickly rushed towards Li Sun. You're still 8 meters away from me. Li Sun's lips curled into a smile as he manipulated tree seeds to gather at Yu Xianheng's feet. The seeds began to grow rapidly as soon as they reached Yu Xianheng's feet, but before they could fully mature, they were shattered by the lightning on Yu Xianheng's body. However, Li Sun didn't care. Simply growing trees didn't consume much chakra, only condensing life seeds in the void required some effort. But his first soul skill was precisely seed creation. This was also a method he devised to compensate for his insufficient chakra. Crackling, with a last flash of lightning, Yu Xianheng quickly retreated a few steps. He hadn't made a single step since the beginning. Every time he took a step, saplings would sprout from the ground. To avoid losing his balance, he could only stay in place and continuously release lightning to protect himself. We need to charge through in one go, Yu Xianheng said gravely. At this point, it wasn't even a proper confrontation. You're still 12 meters away from me, Li Sun said calmly. He hadn't moved an inch since the beginning, but as Yu Xianheng retreated, the distance between them actually increased significantly. Chapter 27 Defeated. Why do the plants summoned by Li Sun's first soul skill seem endless? What's going on? Someone in the square exclaimed. Even with minimal skill consumption, there's a limit. What's with this continuous use? 12 meters. Do you think victory is assured? Yu Xianheng's face flushed red as he glared at Li Sun through gritted teeth. His second and third soul rings lit up, the purple one being the most dazzling. Second soul skill, Thunderous Might. Third soul skill, Dragon's Fury. Yu Xianheng's third soul skill was an amplification skill, essentially a berserk state, doubling the effects of all his skills. Crackling, even denser arcs of electricity than Thunderous Might appeared around Yu Xianheng, shattering any plants that approached. It seems a single plant is too fragile, Li Sun thought. From the beginning, his attention hadn't been on Yu Xianheng, but on how to develop his abilities. Li Sun discovered that his thoughts raced rapidly in actual combat. Some thoughts would inexplicably pop into his mind. Li Sun watched Yu Xianheng rushing towards him, controlled the 5 tree seeds, and quietly placed them in his path, then made them grow in a spiral. The 5 small trees intertwined, like a spiral spear, emerging from the ground and heading straight for Yu Xianheng. Yu Xianheng was startled, his soul power surged, and he pushed the lightning on his body to its limit. Crackling, the moment the spiral spear made contact with the lightning arc, It was smoothed out as if by a grinding wheel. Xiaogang sneered at this and was about to step over the spiral spear. But before his feet even touched the ground, he saw more spears bursting from the ground ahead. Some were even formed by more than a dozen intertwined trees. Break! Xiaogang shouted in horror, unleashing his soul skill with all his might. But this time, there were too many spears. Although the power of the lightning on his body was great, it could not stop such a large number of attacks. Suddenly, a vine silently wrapped around his left leg before he could react. Then a second, a third. Crush! Xiaogang's pupils constricted, and he frantically exerted all his strength. But it was too late. His entire body below the chest was now bound by vines. Xiaogang flailed his arms, tearing and pulling, but was quickly and firmly restrained. Some vines even carried sharp thorns. When they touched Xiaogang, the thorns pierced his body mercilessly, like screwdrivers. As the vines intertwined, the thorns carved deep gashes like blunt knives. Xiaogang used all his soul power to activate his skills, trying to destroy the vines binding him, but he couldn't keep up with the speed of plant growth. Blood flowed down the vines, leaving crimson spots on the ground. Ah! Xiaogang cried out in pain, tears streaming down his face, his head twisting and screaming. And now, more vines were spreading towards him. Seeing Xiaogan's miserable state, the students in the arena widened their eyes, their thighs trembling uncontrollably. Some covered their mouths, trying to suppress vomiting. Some timid girls even screamed and fainted. Xiao Sun, stop. He's already lost, Meng Shenji reacted with alarm and rushed forward. It's alright, Chief Meng. Although I'm not very skilled with my skills yet, I know my limits. He won't die. Li Sun smiled at Meng Shenji and controlled the plant to slowly release Xiaogang. Even if he was annoyed by Xiaogang, he wouldn't do something as foolish as killing him in public. After all, it concerned the harmony between the two sects. Xiaogang was a genius of the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect. The old dragon family was already lacking successors. If he killed another promising talent, it was hard to guarantee that the old dragon family wouldn't go crazy. Just like when Tang San showed him killing intent, he didn't choose to attack. If a Titled Douluo really wanted to assassinate a junior, it was impossible to defend against. Xiaogang, pale-faced, collapsed to the ground without the support of the vines. Below his chest, deep, ravine-like wounds covered him, blood gushing uncontrollably. Quick! Yilingling, treat Xiaogang, Qinming cried anxiously. Yilingling looked bewildered. Qinming had to call her several times to rouse her. Oh, okay, teacher. With the treatment, Xiaogang was temporarily out of danger, but he seemed unable to bear the pain and fainted. The team members also snapped out of their shock, staring at Li Sun as if he were a monster. That was Xiaogang, the direct descendant of the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect, a 14-year-old soul master. Now, he had been utterly crushed by Li Sun. And Li Sun hadn't moved an inch the entire time. Someone had calculated that the distance between them was now 11 meters. Outrageous. A monster. Even the three education committee members, Meng Shenji and Bibi Dong, looked at Li Sun differently. They had anticipated Li Sun's defeat, but he hadn't expected such a shock. Brother, you're so strong. Ning Rongrong, her face pale, leaned closer. She had also been quite shocked, but Xiaogang was an outsider, and she quickly recovered. Serves you right for not trusting your brother. You're punished by having to go back to cultivate. Li Sun chuckled and pinched Ning Rongrong's cheek. No, Ning Rongrong protested. I really didn't expect you to defeat Xiaogang. Douluo was still in shock. She and Xiaogang were on the same team, so she knew his strength, but she hadn't expected Li Sun to defeat him so easily. Sister Yan, no one will bother you now, Li Sun chuckled, teasing her. Douluo feigned a sigh. Yet, I finally had someone pursuing me, and you ruined it. Don't panic, there are plenty of good men out there. Li Sun quickly changed the subject. I hope so. The news of Xiaogang's defeat spread throughout the entire Xiandao Academy in the blink of an eye. Upon hearing the news, the students all compared themselves to Xiaogang, estimating the gap between themselves and Li Sun. Zhu and Zhu Beng also received the news and rushed to the infirmary to visit Xiaogang. Nephew Xiaogang, what do you plan to do next? Should I inform Senior Yu Yuanten for you? Prince Zhu looked at Xiaogang, whose lower body was wrapped in bandages, and pondered. Xiaogang stared blankly at the ceiling. No need, I've already dropped out of school." Prince Zuzing's heart sank, and he quickly advised, "Xianheng, how can you have such thoughts because of a temporary setback? That Li Sun is just a child. You've already learned his skills this time. You can defeat him next time." Yu Xianheng represented his connection with the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect at the academy. If the other party dropped out, this newly established relationship would become extremely weak. "I will defeat him, but not now." Yu Xianheng knew the consequences of his defeat, especially since he, with the cultivation of a soul venerable, had been beaten so badly. It was foreseeable. At this moment, the students of Xiandao Academy were engaged in a heated discussion about themselves. HMPH. Nephew Xianheng, don't be discouraged. Li Sun went too far this time. "I will definitely get justice for you." Prince Zuxing snorted coldly, abruptly standing up from his chair and turning to walk towards the door. Zhu Bang quickly followed. Yu Xianheng heard the commotion, opened his mouth, but ultimately said nothing. His decision to leave the academy remained unchanged. Rather than being pointed at and gossiped about here, he'd rather go somewhere else. Thinking this, boundless hatred flashed in Yu Xianheng's eyes. "Even if I leave, I'll take a bunch of people with me. Li Sun, although you won this time, don't expect to get away with it." If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 Yang Wudi. "Uncle, are we really going to settle scores with Li Sun?" Zhu Bang asked curiously. "Zhu Bang, Yu Xianheng's mind is made up. There's no need to waste time on him. Besides, the Crown Prince will be made Crown Prince in a few days, so we can't act rashly." Zhu Xing looked at Zhu Bang meaningfully. "From now on, you need to act even more like a playboy, but don't provoke Li Sun." "Uncle, I understand." Although Zhu Bang didn't quite understand, he nodded anyway. "Zhu Bang, you must not let the 7 treasure glazed tile school take root in the academy, but don't just show it on the surface either." Zhu Xing nodded and walked out. He naturally wouldn't go looking for trouble with Li Sun, but he still needed to contact the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect. "Sister Yi, are you really going with Yu Xianheng?" Li Sun frowned. Although the 7 treasure glazed tile school is a support sect, it has many powerful soul masters, and its resources are plentiful. "If you join, my teacher will definitely not mistreat you. Besides, the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect has declined and is not as powerful as rumored. It cannot compare to the 7 treasure glazed tile school at all." Yi Lingling looked apologetic. "Brother Li Sun, this is not something I can decide. I have discussed all of this with my elders, but I don't know what kind of cooperation they have reached with the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect. Even I cannot change their decision." Since things had come to this point, Li Sun had no choice. "All right then, Sister Yi, let's keep in touch." "That's what I was thinking too. Li Sun, you have to reserve a good position for me in the 7 treasure glazed tile school." Yi Lingling narrowed her phoenix eyes and smiled, stroking her ear. In the past 6 months, she and Li Sun had been in frequent contact, and they had discussed this matter many times. However, her elders had likely negotiated a more favorable cooperation with the Blue Lightning Tyrant clan, and she couldn't change that. The 9-hearted begonia martial soul was incredibly rare, with only 2 inheritors per generation. To protect future generations, her family kept a close watch on her, which deprived her of much of her influence. Having said this, Li Sun and Yi Lingling exchanged a smile and waved goodbye. Yu Xianheng had already left. Before leaving, he had somehow managed to take 3 members of his team with him. Yi Lingling was one of them, and the other 2 were Osro and Yu Feng. So they don't want me to participate in the Soul Master competition." Li Sun chuckled and shook his head. Actually, the departure of these 3 didn't affect him much. Although Yi Lingling's martial soul was powerful, he still had Ning Rongrong. As for Osro and Yu Feng, although they were minor geniuses, they weren't particularly strong or weak. He didn't care much. But the departure of the 4 was a huge blow to Qin Ming, leaving the team leader listless all day. "I need to find an opportunity to poach some people, even if it's just to make up the numbers," Li Sun pondered. With one less troublemaker, Li Sun's days at the academy became much more peaceful. At 9 years old, his soul power had already reached level 25. His chakra had also increased significantly, and his body flicker technique had reached perfection. During this time, Zhu King ascended to the position of crown prince. Prince Zuzing and Zhu Bang gradually faded into obscurity. Yu Yuanzhan of the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect personally went to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School to demand an explanation for Yu Xianheng's matter. However, he was shocked and immediately rebuffed by Ning Fengzi, Xiao Sun and Yu Xianheng fought fairly. What does Brother Yuanzhan have to say? Since Sect Master Ning says so, then let's have a fair fight too. Yu Yuanzhan was furious and immediately wanted to make a move. Old dragon, you've gone a bit too far. Sword Douluo was expressionless, and the 7-kill sword faintly released a chilling aura. I overstepped my bounds? Xianheng's injuries were severe, almost affecting his offspring's inheritance, and you actually say I overstepped? Ning Fengzi and Sword Douluo both fell silent upon hearing this. They only learned of Li Sun's victory over Yu Xianheng after Yu Yuanzhan arrived. They initially thought Yu Yuanzhan was just trying to save face, but it turned out Yu Xianheng had nearly suffered a fatal injury. In Soul Master battles, injuries are inevitable, Ning Fengzi pondered. We deeply sympathize with Yu Xianheng. If necessary, my 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School can help contact a healing Soul Master. Ning Fengzi, you've gone too far, Yu Yuanzhan roared, a blue dragon coiling around him. Did Ning Fengzi think he couldn't afford a healing Soul Master? Brother Yuanzhan, what do you mean by this? Ning Fengzi frowned. HMPH. Have your sex Li Sun personally apologize to Xianheng, and this matter will be settled, Yu Yuanzhan sneered. Ning Fengzi's face remained ashen, silent. Even if Yu Xianheng had been seriously injured, or even if he had been completely severed, Yu Sun still couldn't accept this. There's no logic in winning a fight and then apologizing. Old dragon, let's have a match then. The 7-kill sword of Dust Heart gleamed coldly, and his domain activated. Yu Yuanzhan's soul ring lit up, and he roared as he charged forward. After a long while, Yu Yuanzhan walked out of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Sect gate with a gloomy face. Li Sun was unaware of what had happened within the sect. He was currently considering something else. Yang Qianjin wouldn't have really had his legs broken by Yang Wuti. Li Sun rested his chin on his hand, sitting cross-legged on the bed. It had been over a year. Back then, Yang Qianjin had gone back to steal the 2nd volume of Yang Wuti's medicine book, but had never returned. Li Sun wasn't worried about not getting the book. After all, he had a contract personally signed by Yang Wuti's grandson. Given Yang Wuti's arrogant personality, he wouldn't renege on his promise. Recently, Du Yuyan's symptoms of poisoning have become increasingly obvious. It's time to resolve this matter. Perhaps due to her young age, the poison in Du Yuyan's body isn't as harmful yet. However, as their relationship deepens, Li Sun feels it's time to make plans sooner. Yang Wuti is quite stubborn. It seems I'll have to bring Sword Grandpa as a bodyguard for safety. Starluo Empire, Dragon Rising City. Li Sun took off his cotton-padded coat and walked with Sword Douluo on the wide street. The two of them had arrived by flying on their swords. Sword Douluo's high cultivation level wasn't a problem. He almost froze to death in the sky. Watching the passers-by, Li Sun relaxed his body, feeling that this place was more lively than Heaven Dao City, with the cries of vendors and the playful figures of children along the way. It brought him a strange sense of peace. The two inquired along the way and soon arrived at a mansion. The mansion wasn't large, but it had a plaque with a single, powerful character on it. Bang, bang, bang. Li Sun gently knocked on the door knocker 3 times. A short while later, the gate opened, and an old man poked his head out from inside. May I ask what brings you two here, uncle? May I ask if this residence is the residence of the Po clan? Li Sun smiled and respectfully clasped his hands in greeting. Perhaps it was the courtesy Li Sun showed when knocking, or perhaps it was his respect for him, but the old man hesitated for a moment. Indeed, young master, what brings you here? I have a connection with Yang Qianjin of this household. We agreed to meet a year ago, but I haven't heard from him since, so I've come. Upon hearing this, the old man paused, seemingly lost in thought, his expression becoming complicated as he looked Li Sun up and down. So it's you? Please come in, both of you. My master once said that if you really came looking for me, he would take you to see him. At this point, the old man paused. Young master, you are truly generous, but you've caused young master Qianjin a truly miserable situation. Li Sun's eyes lit up, and his smile widened. Please tell me, sir. Seeing Li Sun smile, the old man's lips twitched. Young master Qianjin acquired so much wealth. How could he possibly hide it? He was discovered within 2 days of returning, And then the clan chief beat him so badly he was bedridden for 3 months, and the affair between that little girl from the Bai family and him was also discovered. The old man looked around. Both are now under house arrest. But it's a blessing in disguise. The two boys are engaged, seemingly satisfied with his gossipy nature. The old man was in high spirits. Young Master Qianren was still thinking of you while he was in bed. Haha, so I'm his matchmaker. I'll have to go collect some wedding money later. Li Sun laughed heartily. He hadn't expected his actions to have such a result. As they spoke, they arrived at the reception room. Please wait here, I'll go call the master. Thank you, sir. A short while later, a rough voice came from outside the hall. Your house arrest isn't over yet. Wait until I'll let you out, then you can come out. Grandpa, how can I not see Brother Li? I think you're shameless. If you don't go back soon I'll give you a beating. Li soon heard it clearly from inside the room. He knew Yang Wudi was a rough and uncouth man, but he hadn't expected him to be so brutal. This was the typical rural method of disciplining children with sticks. You arrogant brat from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, you've finally arrived. As soon as Yang Wudi entered, he saw 2 figures sitting to the side. I am Li Sun. I have long admired Senior Yang's name. Li Sun quickly stood up and bowed respectfully upon seeing the newcomer. This is my grandfather Sword, a revered elder of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Sword Douluo Chenzin smiled and nodded. Yang Wudi's eyes narrowed, and he quickly bowed to Sword Douluo. Greetings, Your Excellency Chenzin. No need for formalities. I've only come to be your coachman. Sword Douluo smiled and glanced at Li Sun. Yang Wudi immediately understood the situation and cursed inwardly. That cunning brat actually brought people with him. Chapter 29 Cooperation. I know about your deal with Qianren, but the Po clan isn't short of money. I can return the money to you. How about we call it even? Yang Wudi took his seat in the main seat. With Sword Douluo beside him, Yang Wudi didn't display an overbearing attitude, but spoke to Li Sun in a consultative tone. Senior Yang, actually, my coming here this time is secondary to the medicine book. Li Sun shook his head. Oh? Besides this medicine-making skill, what else does my Po clan have that would catch the eye of your 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School? Yang Wudi was somewhat puzzled. The most precious thing in his Po clan was undoubtedly his medicine-making skills, but this child said it wasn't important. Could it be that the Po clan had something precious that he didn't know about? My teacher gave me a task for this trip. He asked me to discuss cooperation with Senior Yang. Li Sun paused for a moment, then added, of course, the final details will require Senior Yang and my teacher to meet and discuss them in detail. Yang Wudi frowned slightly. Cooperation is unnecessary. Because of the Clear Sky sect's betrayal, our single attribute families no longer want any connection with the 3 upper sects. Since the Clear Sky sect fled and closed its gates, the 4 single attribute families have had a very difficult time. They don't know what happened to the Clear Sky sect in the end, but the 4 families have been targeted by the Spirit Hall. In the end, they had no choice but to relocate from the Heaven Dao Empire to the Star Luo Empire. When they first arrived, they were unfamiliar with the Star Luo Empire and had to be constantly wary of the Spirit Hall. For a long time, they struggled to survive. If it weren't for his pharmaceutical methods, his fate wouldn't have been much better than the Crane clan. This is also why he was unwilling to sell his medicine book. If the prescriptions became public, their clan's survival would become even more difficult. Senior Yang, you're overthinking it. The cooperation I mentioned is about pharmaceuticals. Li Sun chuckled. He hadn't expected to bring the Po clan into his ranks with just a few words. After all, they had experienced betrayal and were very sensitive in this regard. Pharmaceutical manufacturing? Young man, tell me first. Yang Wudi's brow relaxed. He had initially thought the other party wanted the Po clan to become vassals of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, but the tone of their voice seemed different. Could they really be here to discuss business? Senior Yang, since I obtained the medicine manual, I have studied it diligently and am well aware of your pharmaceutical techniques. Even my teacher praises your skills highly. Li Sun smiled and cupped his hands in a gesture of respect to Yang Wudi. My teacher's idea is for your Po clan to manufacture medicine, which will then be distributed throughout the continent by my 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Let's work together. Li Sun had been considering the Po clan's situation before coming. He believed that only profit could truly bind people. If the bond wasn't strong enough, it meant they hadn't made enough money. Yang Wudi stroked his chin, lost in thought. He knew the 7 treasure glazed tile school's financial strength and understood that they indeed had the ability to distribute his medicines widely. The fact that the other party had approached him so suddenly felt unreal. Yang Wudi, having lived for many years, had a flurry of thoughts flashing through his mind. At first glance, this matter seems beneficial to both sides, but how can I know if your 7 treasure glazed tile school will kick my breaking clan out after learning how to make medicine? Also, can a junior like you really negotiate this matter with me on behalf of sect master Ning? Yang Wudi finished speaking and looked at Sword Douluo. Xiao Sun can indeed make the decision on this matter. Sword Douluo Chenzin forced a smile upon seeing Yang Wudi's questioning gaze. He was unaware of this matter, and their conversation had surprised him greatly. However, now was clearly not the time to investigate. Seeing Chenzin nod, Yang Wudi's expression turned serious. Li Sun's status in his heart instantly rose several notches. Senior Yang, please hear me out. Li Sun's expression was formal. The cooperation between the two sides is certainly not as simple as medicine. Although my 7 treasure glazed tile school has business acumen, we don't actually have many soul masters that we can send out when trouble arises. Therefore, my teacher suggested that we invite the breaking clan to serve as our medicine sales security consultant, specifically to resolve such troubles. Security consultant. Yang Wudi's mind raced for a moment before he understood the meaning of the term. He sneered, isn't this just another attempt to make my Po clan a vassal of the 7 treasure glazed tile school? It's not the same. We're in a cooperative relationship, both acting in our own interests, aren't we? Li Sun smiled. Senior Yang, we're different from the Haoshan sect. Asking you to be our security advisors is just to help out our own business. To put it bluntly, I'm afraid you'll run away if something happens. Yang Wudi frowned and thought for a moment. Even if, Senior Yang, we'll split the pharmaceutical raw materials 70-30, and the profits 50-50. The 7 treasure glazed tile school will also pay an extra fee each year to cover the Po clan's security advisor's salary. Seeing Yang Wudi's apparent hesitation, Li Sun quickly spoke up. If it weren't for the sect's reputation, he would have given Yang Wudi 60%, since he needed henchmen, not money. Money can be earned any time, and the 7 treasure glazed tile school isn't short of it. But the crisis of the soul hunting operation was constantly looming. If he could avoid it, great. If not, more people meant more strength. I've reviewed your prescriptions. My rough calculations show that the profits from just the medicines listed in the first volume alone, if distributed widely, would be no less than 2 million gold soul coins annually. Li Sun smiled at Yang Wudi. This amount is no small sum for the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Boy, are you threatening me? Yang Wudi's face darkened, and he snorted coldly. His books consisted mostly of medicines in the first volume and poisons in the second. If the 7 treasure glazed tile school were to sell these medicines separately, it would severely impact their clan's livelihood. This junior absolutely did not mean to threaten you. Why do you always think the wrong way? Seeing Yang Wudi's expression, Li Sun quickly explained, what I meant was, wouldn't you be willing to earn 1 million gold soul coins a year? Yang Wudi frowned, his fingers trembling slightly, but quickly recovered. He hadn't expected such a large profit. 1 million gold soul coins was enough to support tens of thousands of people who didn't engage in production for a whole year. The Spirit Hall. Li Sun interrupted Yang Wudi before he could finish. Senior Yang, when you stand on our side, it means the Breaking Clan and the Clear Sky sect have no further connection. The Spirit Hall will naturally not bother you anymore, and my teacher will also mediate with the Spirit Hall. Besides, the 7 treasure glazed tile school is not weak now. The poison Douluo has recently been discussing becoming a retainer with my teacher. Now, with the addition of your Breaking Clan, with our strength, I think the Spirit Hall wouldn't dare to do anything to us. He didn't say everything else. In reality, the Spirit Hall didn't care about the 4 great families at all. The poison Douluo wants to join the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Yang Wudi was taken aback. As a fellow expert in poison, he was naturally familiar with Douluo, but he hadn't expected such a lone Titled Douluo to choose to join the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Would that mean the 7 treasure glazed tile school would have 3 Titled Douluos? Chapter 31st Meeting with Zhu Xiaogang. Upon hearing the news that Douluo was going to join the 7 treasure glazed tile school, Sword Douluo's previously calm face immediately showed surprise. How could he not know about such a big thing? In the past, fangs I should have discussed it with him first. Could it have happened when they came out? Yang Wudi's thoughts raced. He then took out a booklet from his pocket and tossed it to Li Sun. Take this. Thank you, senior. My teacher will be arriving soon. At that time, you and my teacher will discuss the specific details. Li Sun quickly caught it, not flipping through it, but directly putting it into his soul tool. Sect Master Ning thinks highly of my breaking clan. Yang Wudi grinned. Not at all, not at all. My teacher often talks about you. Li Sun smiled. His teacher would probably be overjoyed to receive this news. What's a personal visit? Since senior is alright, then I would like to go see Brother Yang. Li Sun cupped his hands in greeting. Yang Wudi stood up. It's good to go see that little brat. He often thinks about you, in the backyard of the Yang residence. Brother Yang, you look radiant after a year. Is it because of the engagement? Li Sun teased with a smile. Yang Qianjin shyly scratched his head. I have to thank Brother Li. If it weren't for this, my elders wouldn't have arranged our engagement. I'm practically a matchmaker, so I won't ask you for the wedding gift. Li Sun laughed, taking out 3 silver cards from his soul tool. 1,000 gold soul coins is my wedding gift. Brother Li, please don't harm me. Last time I came back, my grandfather beat me so badly I was bedridden for 3 months. I dare not accept this money again. Upon seeing the 3 silver cards, Yang Qianjin's first reaction wasn't joy, but fear. Brother Yang, don't be afraid. This money is a transaction between us. Li Sun stuffed 3 silver cards into Yang Qianjin's hand. I've already discussed the cooperation with your grandfather before coming here. Now we'll both be under the same sect. This, Yang Qianjin was taken aback, as if he hadn't expected his grandfather to agree to join the 7 treasure glazed tile sect. Would I lie to you? Li Sun feigned anger. Yang Qianjin came to his senses and stuffed the silver cards back into Li Sun's hand. Then I can't accept this money. I was in a hurry and took my grandfather's things to sell for money. If you want to give this money, it should go to my grandfather. Besides, we have a contract, and my grandfather won't renege on his debt. Although he was engaged because of this matter, he hadn't escaped any of the punishments he was due to, so how could he dare to accept this money? Li Sun chuckled and shoved the silver card in his hand into Yang Qianjin's arms. Brother Yang, Senior Yang has already given me the medicine book. Because of our matter, the 7 treasure glazed tile school and the broken clan have reached a cooperation agreement to jointly make and sell medicines. Compared to future profits, this amount of money is nothing. Brother Li, don't lie to me. 3,000 gold soul coins isn't even a small amount? How much money is that? Yang Qianjin looked incredulous. Li Sun chuckled and slowly extended his index finger. Your clan earns at least 1 million gold soul coins in profit every year, so Senior Yang didn't even ask about her contract. You can accept this money without any guilt. 1 million, Yang Qianjin exclaimed in surprise. Li Sun nodded with a smile, but this money has nothing to do with you. Isn't my grandfather's money mine? Yang Qianjin scratched his head and grinned foolishly. Perfect timing, you're here. Come on, I'll take you to a restaurant. Weren't you under house arrest? Li Sun looked Yang Qianjin up and down. It's nothing, just a beating. I'm used to it, perhaps emboldened by money, Yang Qianjin said nonchalantly. Let's go then. I have something I want to talk to you about. Let's talk as we walk. Li Sun nodded with a smile. The two walked towards the outside of the mansion, encountering Yang Wudi and Sword Douluo along the way. Yang Qianjin, who had been nonchalant, suddenly became like a quail. Fortunately, Yang Wudi only glanced at them and then ignored them, chatting and laughing as he left with Sword Douluo. After leaving the mansion, the two walked slowly down the street. Li Sun pondered for a moment. Brother Yang, to be honest, I have another purpose for coming here. I want to invite you to join the Heaven Dao Royal Academy and form a team with me to participate in the future Soul Master competition. Xiaogang Hang dropped out of school and took 3 team members with him, leaving their team without enough members to participate in the Soul Master competition. Li Sun's purpose this time was to recruit Yang Qianjin into the team. Although he didn't know Yang Qianjin's soul power level, the soul-breaking spear martial soul was definitely stronger than those noble trash in the academy. Brother Li, my soul power is only level 27. Am I qualified to join the team? Yang Qianjin's eyes lit up. He had been confined for a long time and had been looking forward to Li Sun's arrival. He didn't expect that the other party would bring him one surprise after another as soon as he arrived. I haven't asked Brother Yang's age yet. Li Sun's heart stirred. Yang Qianjin scratched his head, a little embarrassed. I'm 14 years old this year. Haha, that's more than enough. Li Sun laughed. As a top-level martial soul, even if the soul-breaking spear's soul power was much lower than that of his peers, it would still be a fighting force, not to mention that Yang Qianzhen's level was close to that of Du Guyan. That's good. The two walked down the street chatting and laughing. Suddenly, a second-floor window ahead shattered, and a petite figure fell from above. Li Sun was startled and reacted quickly. He flashed and caught the petite figure in midair. Before he could even land, two energy attacks came crashing down from the window. Li Sun's eyes narrowed, his chakra surging, and he instantly vanished just as the attacks were about to strike, leaving only faint afterimages. The two energy attacks passed through the afterimages and struck the cobblestones of the street. The finger-thick slabs shattered instantly, scattering in all directions. Only a shallow crater about a meter in diameter remained. Seeing this power, Li Sun's heart sank. He looked up at the second-floor window and saw two masked men looking down, their gazes meeting his. Perhaps finding it difficult to attack from the street, the two masked men withdrew their gazes and retreated, disappearing into the attic. Li Sun didn't intend to chase them, looking down at the girl in his arms. "Are you alright?" "I'm fine," Zhu Xiuqing replied softly, startled. She had been prepared when she broke the window, but she hadn't expected to be caught in midair. At this moment, her mind was blank, and she didn't know what to say. Looking at the young girl in his arms, whose figure was already quite well developed despite her young age, Li Sun felt somewhat embarrassed. Just as he was about to put her down, he noticed a 3-inch long wound on her left shoulder, bleeding profusely. "Could you put me down first?" Feeling the strong arms holding her, Zhu Xiuqing's pale face flushed slightly. Li Sun gently placed the soft girl on the ground. "To prevent excessive blood loss, you'd better bandage your shoulder wound quickly. P.S. The following will be Zhu Xiuqing's storyline. Chapter 31 Doing Good Deeds. Thank you. If I don't die, I'll repay you in the future." Zhu Xiuqing, pale-faced, said a polite word and clutched her shoulder, about to leave. Although her sister's men wouldn't kill in the street, being here meant she was constantly under their watchful eyes. She needed to find a safe place to hide and recover as soon as possible. Watching the staggering figure, Li Sun muttered to himself with a strange expression, "How can you repay me if you don't even know your name?" He'd seen too many of these verbal repayments. It was as good as nothing more. Although Li Sun had great respect for people who did good deeds anonymously, he wasn't one himself. He felt that if he didn't want money or anything, and couldn't even leave his name, then wouldn't his good deed have been in vain? Perhaps his ears were too sharp, or perhaps Li Sun's muttering was too loud. Zhu Xiuqing paused and slowly turned around. "My name is Zhu Xiuqing." "What's your name?" "My name is Li Sun." Li Sun carefully examined Zhu Xiuqing, a thought flashing through his mind. He knew that name all too well. No wonder Zhu Xiuqing's appearance and figure were so good later on. She already had the foundation. "Li Sun, I'll remember that, thank you," Zhu Xiuqing nodded. "It was nothing to mention." Li Sun waved his hand, looking nonchalant. "By the way, are you really alright? In your current state, it's probably difficult to escape those two's pursuit. Do you want me to escort you home?" Hearing Li Sun offer to take her home, Zhu Xiuqing fell silent. Born into the Zingluo Zhu family, the concept of family had long been foreign to her. Because of the successive marriages with the royal Dai family, the rules of royal brothers fighting each other also applied to their Zhu family. Each generation of Zhu family sisters would kill each other until a victor emerged. "What's wrong? Has something happened at home?" Li Sun asked with concern. "If you have anyone else to rely on, I can take you there safely." Zhu Xiuqing trembled, her right hand, which was covering her wound, unconsciously tightened. "No need, thank you." Zhu Xiuqing took a deep breath, lowered her head, turned around, and was about to walk back the way she came. Daimyo Bei, that coward, had run away, and her aunt, who had always helped her, hadn't returned for 2 months while searching for Daimyo Bei's whereabouts. Now she had no one to rely on but herself. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come to Longsing City, but now it was no longer safe here. "If you really have nowhere to go, you can come with me to Xiandao. Judging from your current situation, it's not very safe for you to stay in Zingluo." Li Sun frowned and pondered for a moment. Zhu Xiuqing was slightly taken aback. "Thank you, no need." She heard that Daimyo Bei had run away to Xiandao. "Miss Xiuqing." Watching Zhu Xiuqing walk away, Li Sun called out softly. He had just deliberately provoked Zhu Xiuqing with his words. Now that he had run into Zhu Xiuqing, He felt it wouldn't be right not to do something. If he could take her away with him, that would be ideal. It would disrupt Shrek Academy, turn Tang San into one of the 5 monsters, and add a member to the Heaven Dao team. Even if he couldn't take her, it wouldn't matter. Causing Zhu Xiuqing some trouble now would be good preparation for the future. Doing good deeds and getting rewarded is normal, right? Li Sun thought for a moment. For ordinary people, Li Sun would simply leave his name after doing good. But for Tang San's teammate, he felt that since he had saved her life, it would be unreasonable for Zhu Xiuqing not to repay him in some way. Although she wouldn't have died even if he hadn't saved her, he had still intervened. Brother Li, should we go after her and see? Yang Qianjun walked over with a wink and patted Li Sun on the shoulder. He was very perceptive. He had been watching from the sidelines without interfering with Li Sun's heroic rescue. Li Sun glanced at him. Brother Yang, weren't you going to treat me to a meal? Are you trying to renege on your debt? Of course not. Just relax a bit today. Seeing that Li Sun didn't intend to discuss the topic, Yang Qianjun wisely kept quiet. Seeing his understanding, Li Sun only ordered dishes costing 200 gold soul coins. The meal lasted until evening. Li Sun ate happily, while Yang Qianjun cried bitterly. When the two returned to the Yang residence, Yang Qianjun was still grieving. Why are you still hanging your head? Yang Wuti glared at Yang Qianjun. Yang Qianjun forced a smile. It's nothing, I just remembered some happy things. Li Sun couldn't help but chuckle. Oh? How happy? Tell me. Yang Wuti's eyes narrowed. If his grandson's answer didn't satisfy him, he would use his belt to make Yang Qianjun happy. Yang Qianjun had been beaten since childhood. Seeing his grandfather's expression, he knew what he was about to face and quickly forced an awkward smile. Grandpa, Li Sun invited me to the Heaven Dao Royal Academy to participate in the Soul Master competition a few years from now. I'm happy. Yang Wuti was taken aback, his expression gradually softening. He glanced at Li Sun, then said to Yang Qianjun, okay, but when you're out there, Li Sun should be the priority. Don't cause him any trouble, understand? Now that they've decided to cooperate with the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, it's only a matter of time before the Breaking Clan appears in the public eye. They don't care about a Soul Master competition anymore. Perhaps the moment they join forces with the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School to do business, their information will appear on the Pope's desk at the Spirit Hall. Understood, Grandpa. Yang Qianjun smiled deep and considerately. He had passed this hurdle. Since Senior Yang has made his decision, I won't disturb you any longer. My teacher will discuss the follow-up matters with you. Li Sun cupped his hands in greeting to Yang Wuti. Sect Master Ning is truly blessed to have a disciple like you. Yang Wuti nodded with a smile. I won't keep you any longer, but Qianjun will have to wait a while. He needs to inform the White Crane clan. After all, he's already engaged. The Soul Master competition is still a long way off. It's good that Brother Yang can come. Li Sun had no objections. Soul Masters cultivate wherever they are, and the academy doesn't offer much speed. After a few more polite exchanges, Li Sun and Sword Douluo left the mansion. Grandpa Sword, could we not fly so fast this time? It's getting colder the faster we go. Li Sun took out a cotton coat from his soul tool and put it on. He had bought this coat in a distant town along the way because he couldn't stand the cold anymore. Are you sure you want to go slower? Sword Douluo looked at Li Sun with a smile. Is it cold even when I go slower? Li Sun was taken aback, somewhat disbelieving. You can try it. Anyway, we'll stop to rest along the way. You can decide the speed yourself. Sword Douluo chuckled, not answering further. He controlled his flying sword to hover beneath his feet. Then let's try it slowly first. Li Sun carefully stepped onto the flying sword and stood in front of Sword Douluo. He had initially protested about this, feeling that he was acting as a windshield. But after standing behind Sword Douluo and holding him for only a short while, his arms ached terribly. He had no choice but to step forward and shield Sword Douluo from the wind. Chapter 32 Reunion with Zhu Xiuqing. Before long, the two had flown out of the city. As the flying sword slowly ascended, Li Sun's vision gradually broadened. Because the flight speed was slow, he carefully observed the surrounding scenery. Outside Longsing City lay a field. Looking down from the sky, the crops at dusk rippled like a dark green ocean. But Li Sun had no interest in observing, for he realized, flying slowly just means getting cold slowly, not that it's not cold. Shall we hurry up? Sword Douluo chuckled, teasingly. Wait a minute. Li Sun adjusted his position, and looking down, he noticed a girl running quickly in the field. Two soul beasts were chasing closely behind her. Li soon felt the girl looked familiar, and upon closer inspection, he realized it was Zhu Xiuqing, whom he had seen on the street at noon. Grandpa Sword, a little over there, Li soon pointed in Zhu Xiuqing's direction. Xiao Sun, this girl's martial soul is the Netherworld cat. She should be from the Zhu family of Xingluo. Interfering in this matter won't do us any good. Sword Douluo had already noticed the figure below, but he ignored it once he saw the other's martial soul. The Heaven Dao Empire and the Xingluo Empire are enemy countries. As a supporter of the Xingluo Empire's royal family, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School has no reason to save a member of the Zhu family. Grandpa Sword, I've met this person today. She has good talent. I was just thinking of bringing her into the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Li soon turned and smiled at Sword Douluo. Sword Douluo frowned. The Netherworld cat is a martial soul unique to the direct line of the Zhu family. Are you sure it can work? A direct line of a family, except in special circumstances, generally won't switch to another sect. Grandpa Sword, she's in a royal marriage this generation and is almost desperate. Li soon looked at the young figure below. The martial souls of the 2 royal families are very recognizable. With a little investigation, Zhu Xiuqing's identity can be found out. Therefore, Li soon did not choose to hide it. Sword Douluo was silent for a moment, then controlled his flying sword to slowly approach. Should I help? Li soon was always decisive in his actions, and so far, he hadn't made any mistakes. Out of trust, Sword Douluo didn't object. Besides, even if the girl grew up and returned to Star Luo, she would only be caught up in the power struggle. This was also a good thing for Heaven Dao. If the other side were to win by chance, they would still have to be grateful for the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School's help. A smile appeared on Li Sun's lips. Grandpa Sword, you really have to help me. Just say so later. As the flying sword gradually approached, Li Sun looked at the girl struggling to escape below. He had saved her life twice already. How did she plan to repay him? Zhu Xiuqing's face was pale, and she had almost no soul power left. Fortunately, she wasn't far from the forest. As long as she entered the forest, she could shake off the 2 Gale demon wolves behind her with the characteristics of her martial soul. She didn't know why things had turned out this way. After separating from Li Sun, she had been carefully hiding, but she was still discovered by her sister's subordinates. Left with no other choice, she could only sneak out of the city. She thought she had escaped the pursuit, but unexpectedly, she was targeted by 200-year-old Gale wolves. How could soul beasts appear so close to Dragon Rising City? Could it be? Zhu Xiuqing bit her lip, ignoring the pain, and quickened her pace. The simple bandage on her left shoulder had reopened, and blood was slowly seeping out. Although the Gale wolves were high level, they hunted in packs and weren't very fast. Normally, she could easily outrun them with her speed. But she was injured, creating a delicate balance. About 500 meters left, Zhu Xiuqing looked at the distant jungle, a pain appearing in her eyes. She felt she was nearing her limit. She didn't know if she could reach that place. Just as Zhu Xiuqing was beginning to despair, a whooshing sound suddenly came from above. Immediately afterward, a flying sword carrying 2 people suddenly appeared in front of her. A young man leaped from the flying sword and landed steadily on the ground. A mere 100-year-old wolf, Li soon stopped mid-sentence. He felt his delivery of Yu Xiaogang's classic line was lacking. Li soon summoned his martial soul, and 2 soul rings, 1 yellow and 1 purple, slowly appeared beneath his feet. Wood release, birth of a tree world. Li soon clasped his fingers together, forming the sea seal, and his soul power and chakra circulated simultaneously. Life seeds rained down like a deluge, rapidly growing into a dense forest the moment they touched the ground. Zhu Xiuqing's lips parted slightly, her beautiful eyes revealing astonishment. She recognized the handsome young man before her. This was the one who had rescued her that morning, though he hadn't used any soul skills despite his strange movements. Seeing the 2 soul rings, 1 yellow and 1 purple, beneath the young man's feet, even she, born into the Zhu family, found it hard to believe. The second soul ring is 1,000 years old, Zhu Xiuqing murmured to herself. Just as she was lost in thought, the mournful howls of the Gale wolf suddenly echoed behind her. Zhu Xiuqing quickly turned around to look. She saw that a dense forest had appeared out of nowhere in the field. These trees weren't tall, but they were incredibly dense, and like self-aware vines, they surged towards the 2 Gale wolves. Before the 2 wolves could react, They were surrounded by the plants rushing in from all directions. The wolves' eyes flashed with ferocity as they launched a series of attacks to block the plant assault. But they quickly realized something was wrong. While their attacks damaged the surrounding plants, new trees would soon grow back. One wolf, seeing this, leaped desperately, trying to escape the center, but before it could jump very high, its legs were entangled and it was pulled down. Howl! The moment the wolf hit the ground, it was instantly covered by the overwhelming vegetation. The sharp thorns on the vines, like saws, chafed the wolf's hard skin, causing it to howl in pain. With one demonic wolf missing, the pressure on the other increased dramatically, and it seemed poised to suffer the same fate as the former. Zhu Xiuqing stared at everything in a daze. She couldn't understand why this boy, who looked to be her age, was so powerful. She had initially been only shocked by Li Sun's 1,000-year-old spirit ring, but she hadn't expected his martial spirit to be so strong. She was considered a genius in her family as well. Yet, even facing two gale demonic wolves, she could only run away, let alone kill them. He only used one spirit skill. Zhu Xiuqing opened her mouth, trying her best to calm herself down. Compared to Zhu Xiuqing's shock, Sword Douluo was also quite surprised. When Yu Yuanzhen went to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, he only mentioned the extent of the injuries Li Sun had inflicted on Yu Xianheng, without providing specific details. Because they hadn't witnessed it firsthand, he and Ning Fengzi, though surprised, didn't truly grasp the situation. Now, having seen Li Sun's spirit skill with his own eyes, he realized just how much those saplings had grown. Xiao Sun's first soul skill is much stronger than before, both in terms of quantity and scale, and he has only just been promoted to Great Soul Master. Sword Douluo looked at the seeds on the ground, his eyes shining. When he helped Li Sun obtain the soul skill, he guessed that the skill would definitely have room for improvement, and now his guess has indeed been proven true. Miss Zhu Qing, we meet again. Chapter 33, A Community of Shared Destiny. Li Sun approached Zhu Xiuqing and waved his hand in front of her eyes. Why do you always seem to be in danger every time we meet? Looking at her hand, Zhu Xiuqing instantly snapped out of her daze, a blush rising to her pale face. Thank you. Being seen in such a disheveled state twice made her feel embarrassed. What did you say? Li Sun leaned closer to Zhu Xiuqing. Zhu Xiuqing quickly lowered her head. Thank you, it's nothing, just a small favor. I only saved you twice, it's nothing. Li Sun smiled, waving his hand repeatedly, as if he had done something insignificant. I will repay you, Zhu Xiuqing said, her head bowed low, as if she wanted to disappear into the ground. Even her words were broken. She felt incredibly awkward. She had just said she would repay Li Sun that morning, but before she could fulfill that promise, he had saved her again. Moreover, given her current condition, she wasn't even sure if she would survive. This verbal repayment was destined to be unfulfilled. She felt like someone who owed money but couldn't repay it, and a wave of guilt washed over her. If you continue like this, I feel I won't live to see the day you repay me. Li Sun's smile faded, his expression slowly turning serious. Miss Zhu Qing, if you truly have no family left in Xingluo, why not consider coming to Xiandao with me? Perhaps you'll have a better future there. Let me introduce myself. My name is Li Sun, and I'm a direct disciple of Ning Fengzi, the sect master of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. This is Grandpa Sword, the sect's revered elder. Just between you and me, Grandpa Sword is a Titled Douluo, Li Sun whispered to Zhu Qing. Zhu Qing suddenly looked up at Li Sun and the Sword Douluo. As a member of a powerful family, she could set aside other knowledge for now, but understanding these famous figures on the continent was essential. She hadn't expected these two to be core members of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, one of the 3 upper sects. And the middle-aged man standing on the sword beside them was none other than the renowned Sword Douluo, Chen Xin. Greetings, Your Majesty Chengxin. Greetings, Brother Li Sun. Zhu Xiuqing first bowed to Sword Douluo, then looked at Li Sun. She was momentarily at a loss for words, unsure how to address him. He had saved her twice, and out of respect, she couldn't call him by his name directly. Li Sun's smile deepened. Sister Xiuqing, what do you think of what I said earlier? Zhu Xiuqing hesitated. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had a good reputation on the continent, and the flying sword at the middle-aged man's feet certainly proved their identities. Traveling with him, she certainly wouldn't have to worry about safety. But she had grown up in the Zhu family, carrying a natural mission and shackles. If she ran away now, wouldn't she be just like that coward? Zhu Xiuqing was speechless, struggling internally. Martial soul, netherworld cat. You are a direct descendant of the Zhu family? And judging by your age, you are very likely a child of this generation to be married into the royal family, just as Zhu Xiuqing was unsure how to answer. Sword Douluo sighed softly, Xiao soon probably won't come with us. From birth, their clan's fate is sealed, they must marry princes to help them vie for the throne, and this process is extremely cruel, requiring sibling rivalry until a final victor emerges. The loser faces death at worst, and exile at best. Hearing Sword Douluo's words, Zhu Xiuqing's face paled instantly, her hands unconsciously clenching her sleeves. Grandpa Sword, can't we give up? Li Sun looked at Sword Douluo with a puzzled expression. Sword Douluo's eyelids twitched, he took a deep breath, and recited his lines. No, only the strongest in the Star Luo royal family can obtain the throne, and the victor, to prevent the opponent from making a comeback, will eliminate this threat. Zhu Xiuqing trembled, her teeth clenched, and she clutched her injured left shoulder. The royal rules were so cruel, only through competition could one survive, and the Zhu sisters, as those involved in the marriage alliance, had to face the same choice. Yet, under such rules, someone was still trying to escape, undoubtedly abandoning their chance to live. Grandpa Sword, isn't the Star Luo royal family the Dai family? What does the death of a prince have to do with the Zhu family? Li Sun pondered. Sword Douluo's hand, hidden behind his back, trembled slightly. Li Sun's words had deviated from their prearranged script. The Zhu family women and the Dai family have a generations-long marriage alliance. When a Dai family member ascends the throne, a Zhu family woman becomes empress. Do you think that's unrelated? Oh, Li Sun turned to Zhu Xiuqing. Do you want to be empress? Zhu Xiuqing was still immersed in the fear of royal rules. Hearing Li Sun's question, her mind went blank for a long time before she slowly shook her head. Then do you like the prince you're marrying? Li Sun stepped forward, staring into Zhu Xiuqing's eyes. They were getting close. Zhu Xiuqing instinctively wanted to take a step back, but was drawn in by Li Sun's words. She stood still, thought for a moment, and said, no, her fate was only determined when she awakened her martial soul. After all, to marry into the royal family, one's aptitude couldn't be too poor. She was only 9 years old and hadn't known Daimyo for long, so the question of whether she liked him or not was premature. They were simply bound by fate. How strong is that prince? What are his forces like? What are his opponents like? Li Sun thought for a moment and asked 3 questions. They were very close. So close that Zhu Xiuqing could clearly hear his breathing. But since it involved her fate, and he might even be able to help her, Zhu Xiuqing blushed, suppressing her embarrassment and not backing away. Daimyo is 11 years old, with a soul power level of 25. He hasn't received support from other forces yet. His opponent is the eldest prince, whose soul power level should be around 40. Zhu Xiuqing's voice grew softer and softer until she fell silent. Is the difference in strength that great? Li Sun was somewhat surprised. How does that Daimyo plan to contend for the throne? He escaped. Zhu Xiuqing's mood somber. Li Sun grinned. Then what are you still insisting on? Everyone else has run away. Do you still want to fight for the empress all by yourself? Zhu Xiuqing was stunned upon hearing this, and felt a lump in her throat. There's no escaping the royal struggle. Only the victor survives. I want to ask, if the prince is killed, will you, the Zhu sisters, die along with him? Li Sun asked a question he had been pondering. Zhu Xiuqing suddenly thought of her second sister and was speechless for a moment. Her second sister's fiancé was assassinated this year, but her second sister had ironically gained her freedom. However, her situation was different from her second sister's. Her eldest sister had sent assassins to kill her several times. But, my eldest sister won't let me go, Zhu Xiuqing said dejectedly, her eyes filled with sorrow. Hiss. Li Sun gasped, scratching his head. What's your eldest sister's soul power level now? If a person's thinking is rigid, they are truly inflexible. Chapter 34 Above the Sky. My eldest sister's soul power should be around level 40, Zhu Xiuqing murmured, head bowed and arms crossed. Then you shouldn't die. If I were your eldest sister, I would have killed you long ago. In terms of power and strength, you wouldn't have had any chance of escaping. Li Sun squatted down, picked up a twig from the ground, and drew a rough map. Judging from how I rescued you in Longsing City, you must have been chased all the way from the Star Luo capital, right? You can calculate how many times you escaped along the way. Zhu Xiuqing suddenly looked at Li Sun, her eyes gradually brightening. She hesitated for a moment and said, Li Sun. Brother, are you saying that my eldest sister wants to drive me out of the Star Luo Empire? Li Sun nodded, very likely. Otherwise, with your current level and age, there's no reason you could have survived. Zhu Xiuqing trembled upon hearing this, tears suddenly welling up in her eyes. She quickly covered her mouth with her hand. She, who should have been in despair, suddenly realized that she might be the one being protected. The thought, once it surfaced in her mind, was like a lifeline, impossible to shake off. It kept telling her it must be true. Zhu Xiuqing desperately wanted to cry, to release the pent-up bitterness and anguish she had felt for so long. Li Sun slowly stood up, walked to Zhu Xiuqing, patted her head, and comforted her. Is there anything you don't understand? But, I'm still a little scared. Tears streamed down Zhu Xiuqing's face as she choked out. It's alright. You can come with me to Xiandao first. Even the Star Luo royal family will have to be careful there. Li Sun smiled, took off his cotton coat, and draped it over Zhu Xiuqing. Then, he helped her slowly step onto the flying sword. As for Daimyo Bei, I reckon you'll be safe once he's dead. Sword Douluo stood on the flying sword, watching all this, his eyelids twitching. He felt that agreeing to rehearse lines with Li Sun was a mistake. The boundless sky was empty and lonely. The addition of a flying sword, however, added a different kind of color to this desolation. On the flying sword, Sword Douluo was looking at Li Sun with a strange expression. He felt that the reason this kid rescued Zhu Xiuqing was just to find someone to shield him from the wind on the flying sword. If Li Sun knew that Sword Douluo thought this way, he would definitely cry foul. Zhu Xiuqing wouldn't have died even without his rescue. But knowing that the other party would join Shrek Academy, become Tang San's henchman, and Daimyo Bei's accessory, if he didn't stop him, wouldn't that be aiding the enemy? What did Sword Douluo take him for? Li Sun tightened his arms around Zhu Xiuqing's waist, bringing the two closer. It wasn't that Li Sun was being a pervert, but being at such a height was unsafe and a bit cold. He had given Zhu Xiuqing his only cotton coat. He was now only wearing a thin layer of clothing. Fortunately, Zhu Xiuqing's waist was slender, making it easy to hug her, and the two of them, pressed close together, could generate a little warmth. However, for some reason, Zhu Xiuqing kept twisting back and forth. This troubled Li Sun, who could clearly feel the roundness in his lower abdomen. Li Sun had considered wearing a cotton coat and standing in front. However, Sword Douluo was a man of pure and untainted nature. He could endure some hardship himself. But he couldn't let his grandfather's reputation be tarnished by a girl. Zhu Xiuqing was very hot. Despite the cold of the high altitude, she felt burning hot all over. Even hotter was the body heat emanating from the person behind her. Although she was wearing a cotton coat, perhaps due to the climate, this garment, meant to keep warm, was very thin. At such close proximity, she could clearly feel the other's firm chest. This feeling made her unconsciously shift her body to alleviate the discomfort. Feeling the steel-like arms around her waist, her heart pounded. She had never been this close to a boy before. Zhu Xiuqing thought of many things in an instant, forcing herself to calm down. As her body gradually relaxed, her heart became unusually calm. At that moment, she felt the whole world had changed. The sky seemed so vast, and even the whistling wind sounded exceptionally pleasant. She felt as if the invisible shackles binding her had vanished. All of this stemmed from her speculation about her eldest sister's motives. As for Daimyo Bei, since he had chosen to abandon her and run away, the two should no longer be involved. It would save her the trouble of being the eldest sister. Just as Zhu Xiuqing was lost in thought, she suddenly felt her waist loosen. Li Sun's arm suddenly rose, his palm reaching straight for her upper body. Zhu Xiuqing's mind went blank, her heart pounding uncontrollably. Just as her thoughts froze, his palm stopped at the wound on her left shoulder. Zhu Xiuqing had been running all day and hadn't paid much attention to her injury. Li Sun feared that she, already suffering from excessive blood loss, would experience hypothermia in the cold high altitude. Li Sun slowly mobilized his chakra, channeling it into the wound through his palm. Although he hadn't yet developed a healing ninjutsu, he could still heal some external injuries by utilizing the properties of wood release, even at the cost of chakra. Why is your body so stiff? Are you afraid of falling? Li Sun felt Zhu Xiuqing's tense body and tightened his arm around her waist. Zhu Xiuqing's mind had cleared, and she realized she'd misunderstood, her face flushing red. Feeling the warm, comfortable sensation from her left shoulder wound, She was amazed. Brother Li Sun can actually heal injuries without using a spirit. Zhu Xiuqing glanced at Li Sun, and he's clearly a controlled type spirit master. Li Sun smiled at her, but she seemed startled and quickly turned away. Are you embarrassed because you saw my handsome face? Li Sun pondered. Perhaps it was because he'd been away for too long and missed his sect, or perhaps the air wasn't so cold anymore, but even when passing through towns, Li Sun didn't let Sword Douluo stop. Only when they encountered scenic spots did the three stop to rest and relieve their physical and mental fatigue. At the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, Ning Fengzi's joy was palpable. I didn't expect your trip to yield such gains, teacher. Don't be too happy yet. You still need to personally discuss the specific details of the cooperation with the Broken Clan with Senior Yang Wudi, Li Sun advised Ning Fengzi, giving him a heads up. That's as it should be. Although the Broken Clan has fallen on hard times, they are still not comparable to ordinary sects. I will set off immediately. Ning Fengzi nodded with a smile. When Li Sun first mentioned wanting to win over the Broken Clan, he hadn't held out much hope. Only considering it a way to train his disciple, which was why he offered words of encouragement. He hadn't expected that in just over a year, Li Sun would quietly advance the matter to such a stage. How could this not surprise him? The Broken Clan was comparable to the lower 4 sects, not to mention they were previously in vassal of the Clear Sky sect. As for whether this would anger the Clear Sky sect, Ning Fengzi smiled calmly. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. Take off your clothes and lie down. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School and the Broken Clan have a cooperative relationship. They exchange real money, not try to make each other vassals. Even if the Broken Clan helps the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School against an enemy, it's merely to protect their own property, and no one can find fault with that. In just a moment, Ning Fengzi had laid out a framework for the relationship between the two schools. He then turned his gaze to Zhu Xiuqing. Xiuqing, you can choose either the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School or the Academy. Even the Star Luo Empire's royal family can't interfere in either of these places. Ning Fengzi looked at Zhu Xiuqing with a smile, but the specific choice is up to you. However, even if you don't choose to join the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, I will still offer you some support. Zhu Xiuqing's identity is somewhat sensitive, and even Ning Fengzi needs to consider it carefully. Letting her make the choice is simply leaving room for both sides. Upon hearing this, Zhu Xiuqing subconsciously turned to look at Li Sun, only to meet his gaze. Zhu Xiuqing quickly looked away. Senior Ning, will my joining the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School affect you? Xiuqing, if you are Prince of the Star Luo Empire, I absolutely could not allow you to join the sect. This isn't to belittle you, but it involves 2 great empires. But as a member of the Zhu family, the impact is much smaller. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School can handle it. Ning Fengzi nodded. The fact that this little girl asked this meant she wasn't simply coming to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School to avoid trouble, but genuinely wanted to break free from her constraints. Zhu Xiuqing thought of her elder sister, then of Daimyo Bei, and then of her experiences over the past 2 years. Senior Ning, I choose to join the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Good. Xiuqing, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School will always be your home. Ning Fengzi laughed heartily. Xiao Sun, take Xiuqing to choose a place to stay. Yes, teacher. Li Sun smiled and nodded, then looked at Zhu Xiuqing. Now, the Shrek 7 Devils had become the Shrek 5 Devils. Ever since Tang San pointed his hidden arrow at him, their relationship had changed. Li Sun guessed that Tang San might have already mentally marked his own death. Li Sun didn't want to be passive, so weakening Tang San's power now was the best option for him. After all, only the strong deserved mercy and naivety, and he didn't want to one day be branded as evil and beg for mercy. Seeing Li Sun leading Zhu Xiuqing out of the main hall, Ning Fengzi smiled and said to Sword Douluo, Uncle Sword, I'll have to trouble you again tomorrow. No problem, it'll be good to see the scenery. Sword Douluo smiled, taking a sip of tea. But this trip will take a long time, won't it delay Dugubo's entry into the sect? Dugubo? Enter the sect? What do you mean, Uncle Sword? Ning Fengzi asked, somewhat puzzled. Didn't Xiao Sun say that Dugubo was discussing becoming a sect elder with you? Sword Douluo was taken aback and put the tea on the table. With his cultivation level, He could remember things for a long time, if not photographically. He was right there when Li Sun and Yang Wudi talked about Douluo, and he clearly heard everything. So why did Ning Fengzi seem to know less than he did? Could it be that Xiao Sun is lying to Yang Wudi? Sword Douluo frowned. Although Yang Wudi wasn't a titled expert, his strength was still extremely high. When interacting with such a powerful person, one didn't have to be completely open, but one had to be honest. If the other party realized he had been deceived, it could easily cause dissatisfaction, turning a good thing into a bad thing, and perhaps even causing them to hold a grudge against Li Sun. Ning Fengzi fell into thought upon hearing this. Uncle Sword, given Xiao Sun's personality, he wouldn't speak without reason. He must be contacting Douluo unilaterally, and he should already have some progress. In recent years, Li Sun had never made a mistake in his work, and out of trust in him, Ning Fengzi's first thought was how far things had progressed. I was just too worried. Sword Douluo picked up his teacup again. But this little rascal is quite the deceiver. He dared to use this to fool Yang Wudi before the matter was even settled, almost fooling me too. Uncle Sword, who said this was a lie to Yang Wudi? I was indeed discussing this with Douluo, but we were keeping it a secret. Ning Fengzi and Sword Douluo exchanged a glance, then burst into laughter. Li Sun led Zhu Zhuqing to his residence. His area was the core of the sect, with few qualified residents, leaving plenty of vacancy. Zhu Zhuqing ultimately chose the small building next to Li Sun's as her residence in the 7 Treasure Glazed tile sect. The two lived only a narrow path apart. Across the street were the residences of Ning Fengzi and Sword Douluo. Zhuqing, this is Aunt Zhu. You can tell her anything you need. Li Sun introduced Zhu Zhuqing. Aunt Zhu was sent by his teacher to take care of him when he first came to the sect. With her gentle appearance and impeccable manners, he would have liked to bring Aunt Zhu along if the dormitory rooms weren't so limited. Hello, Aunt Zhu, Zhu Zhuqing greeted her. Miss Zhuqing, please don't be so formal. I'll tidy up your room for now. Please make do with the young master's place for a while. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing's politeness, Aunt Zhu smiled and turned to leave. How's your injury? Li Sun asked Zhu Zhuqing after Aunt Zhu left. Much better, Zhu Zhuqing blushed, remembering what happened on the flying sword. Li Sun raised an eyebrow. Don't push yourself too hard, or you'll end up with a scar. Whether it was due to a difficult childhood or something else, Zhu Zhuqing was a quiet and reserved person. Communicating with her required getting down to business. Hearing about the scar, Zhu Zhuqing paused. It still hurts a little. On the flying sword, Li Sun had only given her a simple treatment before stopping. Using such an ability was probably a huge drain on him. Although her wound was still a little uncomfortable, she was too embarrassed to speak. I knew you were just putting on a brave face. Come on, pick a room first, Li Sun said and went into the room. Zhu Zhuqing hesitated for a moment, then quickly followed. The two entered the room. Li Sun closed the door, glanced at Zhu Zhuqing, and pointed to the large bed. Take off your clothes and lie down. Huh? Zhu Zhuqing's lips parted slightly, looking at Li Sun in disbelief, one hand unconsciously clutching her collar. At this moment, her heart was pounding, and her eyes kept sneaking glances at the closed door behind Li Sun. She might have been tricked. This thought flashed through Zhu Zhuqing's mind. She felt like a lamb in the wolf's den, about to be devoured piece by piece. The power transmission is not good through clothes. I need to expend 3 times the energy to achieve the healing effect. Li Sun looked at Zhu Zhuqing staring blankly at him. After a moment's thought, he understood, and his brows furrowed. Who does this girl think she is? He may not be a perfect gentleman, but he still has his principles, okay? Oh, Zhu Zhuqing was taken aback, her pretty face instantly turning red, and she lowered her head to respond softly. Chapter 36 Opportunity. Zhu Zhuqing walked to the bedside in a state of confusion, inwardly berating herself. How could she have thought so badly of Li Sun, the man who had saved her twice? Zhu Zhuqing's hands trembled as she unbuttoned her outer garment, revealing the fair skin on her shoulder. Only a 3-inch long wound marred her overall appearance. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing lie down with her eyes closed, Li Sun slowly approached, trying to avoid looking at her chest, and began to examine the wound. It's alright, Li Sun nodded. Although Zhu Zhuqing's injury was severe, it hadn't damaged any bones. He was fully capable of treating this kind of injury, although it would take a long time. But once healed, it would leave no scars. When a warm hand covered her shoulder, Zhu Zhuqing felt a tingling sensation spread throughout her body. This feeling made her involuntarily close her legs and tremble uncontrollably. Although Xingluo wasn't feudal, men and women still maintained a distance. Even her clothing, while highlighting her figure, was never overtly revealing. She lay on the bed in only her undergarments, a man sitting beside her, pressing on her shoulders. This was something she had never dared to imagine before. Alright, that's all for today. I need to recover my soul power. After an unknown amount of time, Li Sun suddenly withdrew his hand. Zhu Xiuqing murmured, her eyes closed. At this moment, she resembled a ripe peach, her exposed skin fair and pink. Li Sun glanced at her, then smiled and left the room. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, Zhu Xiuqing would become completely saccharine. Hearing the door close, Zhu Xiuqing cautiously opened her eyes, glanced at the door, and then, as if remembering something, buried her head deep into the blankets. Li Sun went to the hall. He happened to run into Ning Rongrong, who was peeking out from the doorway like a thief. Take whatever you want from the house, don't be shy, Li Sun teased. I heard you were back, so I came to see you. Ning Rongrong's eyes lit up. She opened the door, skipped over to Li Sun, and hugged his arm tightly. Brother, I heard you brought someone back. Where is she? She's resting now. I'll introduce her to you later. Li Sun felt the touch on his arm and glanced at Ning Rongrong. He felt he was immune to this girl. This feeling made him sigh. Once someone comes into contact with something better, it's hard to go back to the way things were before. Ning Rongrong was still young and needed to work harder. Oh, Ning Rongrong hummed absent-mindedly. Having been together for several years, Li Sun knew exactly what she was thinking. He smiled and ruffled Ning Rongrong's hair. Rongrong, you can't bully her. Then, Li Sun told Ning Rongrong about Zhu Xiuqing's experiences, deliberately exaggerating some of the details. Ning Rongrong, her eyes brimming with tears, asked in a daze, Brother, is Zhu Xiuqing safe now? Li Sun pondered for a moment, more or less, but we still need to keep a low profile, HMPH. When we grow up, we'll take Zhu Xiuqing back openly and honestly, and let's see what that Douluo royal family can do, Ning Rongrong said angrily. Okay, my Rongrong is amazing, Li Sun stroked her head gently. After coaxing Ning Rongrong away, Li Sun returned to his room and took out the medical books from his soul tool, arranging them one by one. This trip to Douluo had been incredibly fruitful for him. Zhu Xiuqing, Yang Wudi, and the immortal herb diagram, a win-win-win situation. Li Sun chuckled and opened the book. The second volume, written by Yang Wudi, was indeed, as he himself said, mostly about poison-making methods. However, Li Sun still found what he was looking for. What surprised him even more was that it also recorded 2 other immortal herbs. It seems I have to continue with the tasks I've issued, though it will cost some money, and perhaps I'll even get some unexpected gains. Li Sun closed the book. A continent with only such a few precious plants would be far too barren, even fantasy floor tiles wouldn't make sense. Now I'm just waiting for an opportunity. Li Sun put the books one by one into his soul tool and immediately began cultivating. Although he had developed a good relationship with Du Yan, he wasn't going to force things. Their interactions were limited to juniors, and he still lacked a certain level of connection with Dugubo. Although he and Dugubo had discussed medicine on several occasions and had gotten along quite well, Li Sun understood that if he even mentioned the herbs of Sunset Forest or the ice and fire yin-yang well, Dugubo would become wary and suspect his motives for approaching his granddaughter. Although his motives were indeed impure, it would be much more difficult for him to win over Dugubo then. Spring passed and autumn came. Another year had passed. During this year, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Xiuqing became close friends, often spending time together at the academy. Her relationship with Li Sun also improved significantly. Perhaps it was a case of being influenced by one's surroundings, but spending so much time with Ning Rongrong's lively personality influenced Zhu Xiuqing, making her much more optimistic, with smiles occasionally appearing on her face. These smiles were even more radiant when she chased Li Sun out of the dormitory. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School also reached a cooperation agreement with the Breaking Clan. Yang's medicines were slowly spreading throughout the continent, and both sides were satisfied with the cooperation. However, while some were satisfied, others were not. Titan of the Power Clan had repeatedly caused trouble at Yang Wudi's residence, leading to considerable unpleasantness. Even the Agility Clan had become much more distant. Only the Royal Clan remained silent, quietly approaching Yang Wudi seeking investment in housing construction. Yang Wudi had anticipated this, and regardless of who he spoke to, He declared that his relationship with the 7 treasure glazed tile school was merely a cooperative one, thus avoiding a major escalation. However, Titan didn't buy it, insisting that the Broken Clan had betrayed them and that the 7 treasure glazed tile school was taking advantage of their vulnerability. If he weren't weak, he would have liked to cause trouble for the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Meanwhile, 2 more documents appeared on Bibi Dong's desk, concerning the recent movements of the Broken Clan and the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Bibi Dong glanced at them, tossed them aside, and went to the Pope's private chamber. Zhu Qing's position as crown prince was more secure, and he occasionally visited Li Sun and Ning Rongrong at the academy. However, this crown prince always inadvertently touched upon the situation on the continent and his views on the spirit hall when he spoke. Li Sun never gave a direct answer. He would ramble on about various things, ultimately expressing only one point: he did not approve of the 7 treasure glazed tile school and the Heaven Dao Empire being enemies with the spirit hall. Although these words were meaningless, Zhu Qing listened attentively. This was also the reason she occasionally came to the academy. Yang Wudi's grandson, Yang Qianren, had also arrived at the academy, including Zhu Xiuqing. Li Sun's team already had enough members to participate in the next Soul Master competition. At this moment, in the team's training ground, Zhu Xiuqing and Yang Qianren were launching an attack on Li Sun. Behind them, Ning Rongrong held a 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda. 7 treasures emanate from the glazed tiles. The 7 treasures have names: first, strength; second, speed. A 7 colored light instantly shot out from the pagoda, splitting into 4 strands in the air, which respectively entered the bodies of Zhu Xiuqing and Yang Qianren. The 2 received a boost, their speed instantly increasing dramatically. Well done, Li Sun smiled, his 5 fingers interlocking to form the sea seal, and 2 soul rings, one yellow and one purple, lit up beneath his feet, would release. Chapter 37 Poisoning Outbreak. The 1,000-handed Buddha instantly threw out 10 energy fruits. Upon reaching the air, these fruits exploded, transforming into seeds that scattered to the ground. The seeds rapidly grew upon contact with the ground, quickly forming a small forest in the blink of an eye. Zhu Xiuqing narrowed her beautiful eyes, her figure flashing constantly, dodging the vines and branches that entangled her. Although Yang Qianren was not as fast as Zhu Xiuqing, each of his attacks was powerful and sweeping, constantly destroying the surrounding plants. The 2 charged at Li Sun, one after the other. As members of a team, they were already familiar with Li Sun's skill. Therefore, their strategy was to use Yang Qianren to restrain Li Sun's skill while Zhu Xiuqing attacked directly. In just a few flashes, Zhu Xiuqing broke through the forest and pounced on Li Sun. Netherworld thrust. Looking at the charging kitten, Li Sun smiled and transformed into a phantom. Zhu Xiuqing's attack instantly missed. She reacted quickly, changing direction the moment she landed. Before she could even see what was ahead, she felt a warm hand grip the back of her neck. Zhu Qing, next time you should retreat quickly instead of counterattacking on the spot. Li Sun pinched Zhu Qing's neck, then withdrew his hand, indicating he was done for. Okay, I understand. Zhu Qing trembled and slowly stood up, walking to Li Sun's side with her head down. Your strategy this time was pretty good. Li Sun lightly stomped his foot, instantly wasting Yang Qianren's previous efforts. The path Yang Qianren had cleared in the forest was instantly filled with new plants, constantly compressing the space he could move in. This was an ability Li Sun had developed. As long as there were seeds on the ground, he could cast spells without hand seals. Break. Yang Qianren raised his spear, condensing his soul power, continuously pouring it into the soul-breaking spear. With a sweeping motion, the surrounding trees instantly snapped, creating a small clearing. Go! Yang Qianren raised his spear again, gathered his strength in his legs, and thrust out, his entire body shooting forward with the spear. At this moment, he seemed to become one with the spear, unstoppable, and the plants in his path were all shattered by the impact. Watching Yang Qianren charging straight at him, Li Sun smiled faintly, lightly tapping the ground with his toes, and a lush plant corridor instantly grew in front of him. Yang Qianren's skill was incredibly powerful. During the charge, the corridor was destroyed as if it were withered and dry. However, the trees grew continuously, and his momentum gradually weakened, until he was lifted into the air by the plants on both sides of the corridor. What an aerial acrobat! Li Sun smiled and came to Yang Qianren's side, carefully observing the other's posture in the air. The others also gathered around at this time. Brother Yang, your posture is not bad. The two brothers, Shimo and Shimo, teased from the side. "Why don't you two go?" Yang Qianjin turned his head with difficulty and grinned at the two brothers. Graphite and Millstone quickly wiped the smiles off. They had already experienced Li Sun's skill firsthand. As defensive soul masters, they lack both speed and destructive power, making it impossible for them to break through the forest's blockade. Staying put only meant being utterly dominated. Yang Qianjin grimaced. "With our team set up, I told you we need at least 4 people." Li Sun chuckled, releasing his restraints. "I just happen to be able to counter Brother Yang. With Brother Yang's destructive power, if you were paired with 3 strong teammates, I might as well just admit defeat." Du Yan rolled her eyes at Li Sun. "Just happen to counter Yang Qianjin? Even the agility-based Zhu Qing can't handle you. Tell me, who in this team isn't countered by you?" As a fellow control type, Du Yan was completely outmatched in battle. Li Sun's skill range was too wide, she wasn't safe anywhere. Li Sun smiled awkwardly. He was just being polite to avoid embarrassing Yang Qianjin. Why was Du Yan taking it so seriously? "In my opinion, to deal with Brother Li, we need to use numerical superiority or overwhelming level. Elemental Soul Masters and Flying Soul Masters would also work." Yang Qianjin straightened his clothes. "Brother Li's skills have a very wide range. Soul Masters of the same level with slightly lower mobility have no chance to escape and can only be slowly worn down. I suggest that we should form teams of at least 4 in future battles, otherwise it won't serve any training purpose." Yang Qianjin deeply agreed with Du Yan's words. Through several battles, he had roughly figured out the gap between himself and Li Sun. With his current attack power, he simply couldn't quickly destroy the plants that were constantly surging towards him. If he relaxed even slightly, he would be overwhelmed by Li Sun's skills. Even if he managed to break through the skill blockade, Li Sun's unpredictable movement would quickly create distance, leaving him no chance to get close. "Brother Yang has analyzed my skills very thoroughly," Li Sun laughed. He had also considered what Yang Qianjin said. Aside from level and number of people, he could compensate for the weaknesses of his elemental martial soul with the ice and fire yin-yang well. But against flying soul masters, he really didn't have a good solution. The only thing that could pose a threat in the air was his second martial soul. But his second martial soul currently had a drawback. It could only launch attacks in a straight line, which, although the distance was far, was easily dodged. Moreover, considering maximizing future strength, he definitely couldn't add soul rings to his second martial soul now. Always getting beaten up, shouldn't I reflect on this? Yang Qianjin grinned and scratched his head. Everyone laughed heartily at his words. "Alright, this time wrong, Sister Yan, and Brother Yang are a team, Zhu Qing, Graphite and Stone Mill are a team." After chatting with everyone for a few moments, Li Sun began to arrange the training. He was now the team captain and also served as half a team leader instructor. The reason he was only half was because Qin Ming was rarely seen these days. Ever since Yu Xianhang took Yu Qianqian, Oslo, and Yu Feng away, Qin Ming seemed to have lost his backbone, listless and uninterested in the team. He only came to check on Zhu Xiuqing and Yang Qianjin when they joined, but upon seeing their ages and soul power levels, he left disappointed. Meng Shenji even called Qin Ming in for a talk, but Qin Ming wouldn't listen. This incident even caused a stir regarding the selection of the team leader. Upon learning this, Li Sun, for the sake of his own freedom, asked 3 education committee members to plead for Qin Ming. Li Sun sat in his chair, took a sip of tea, and leisurely watched the battle. The role of a team leader didn't require much skill. The training methods were easily imaginable. Their only purpose was probably to help students acquire soul rings. But Li Sun wasn't worried about that. He had experts at home. "It seems I'll have to let Brother Yang lead one person from now on," Li Sun thought, glancing at the situation. Yang Qianjin was currently dominating the Shi brothers. With the support of the 7 treasure glazed tile skull and Du Yan, Yang Qianjin was like he was on drugs, completely unafraid of the Zhuangwu turtle's counterattack, and every attack was wide and powerful. It wasn't that Yang Qianjin was stronger than Yu Xianheng, but as the only offensive type in the team, he was just that outstanding. On the other side, Zhu Xiuqing, who should have taken advantage of Yang Qianjin being restrained by the Shi brothers to attack the opposing support soul master, was blocked by Du Yan. Every time she attacked Ning Rongrong, she was blocked by Du Yan's snake venom. The two sides were already somewhat different in level, and with the added threat of the azure scale snake venom, Zhu Xiuqing felt like she had no way to attack. The two sides tugged at each other for several more rounds, and just when Zhu Xiuqing thought she was about to return empty-handed again, Du Guyan suddenly staggered and seemed to lose her balance. Chapter 38 Douluo. Netherworld 100 Claws. Zhu Xiuqing's eyes lit up upon seeing this, and her speed instantly increased. Just as the attack was about to hit Du Guyan, Li Sun suddenly appeared between them. Startled, Zhu Xiuqing quickly dispelled her skill to avoid accidentally injuring Li Sun. Li Sun's sudden intervention was also out of necessity. For the past year, he had been waiting for Du Guyan to show symptoms of poisoning. But perhaps due to her young age and low soul power level, Du Guyan had always appeared healthy. Now, finally showing symptoms during the battle, if she were to be injured by Zhu Xiuqing's skill, given Du Gubo's temperament, who knew what kind of trouble he would cause? Li Sun opened his arms and embraced the rapidly charging Zhu Xiuqing tightly. Given Zhu Xiuqing's speed, the impact was considerable. To dissipate the force, Li Sun spun around several times with Zhu Xiuqing in his arms before stabilizing himself. Xiuqing, Sister Yan's condition is not right, stop for now. After saying this, Li Sun put Zhu Xiuqing down and walked towards Du Guyan. Oh, Zhu Xiuqing blushed and replied softly, quickly following after him. Being held and spun around in Li Sun's arms in front of so many people, her mind was still reeling. Brother, what's wrong? Ning Rongrong rushed over from a distance, looking flustered. Because of her martial spirit, Ning Rongrong had been quite idle and had seen everything that was happening. When she saw Li Sun suddenly appear and hold Zhu Xiuqing in his arms, her mind went blank. Only when she saw Li Sun walk towards Du Guyan did she realize what was happening. She quickly went forward to ask what was going on. The others present also noticed the situation and immediately stopped. Li Sun took Du Guyan's pulse. Sister Yan has been poisoned, and not just any ordinary poison. Poisoned. Sister Yan is a master of poisons. How could she be poisoned? Zhu Xiuqing and Ning Rongrong exclaimed in shock. It's precisely because she's a master of poisons that she's been harmed. Li Sun pondered for a moment. Let's inform Senior Dugu first and see if he has a solution. Upon hearing this, the Shi brothers, Shimo and Shimo, immediately ran off the field. Perhaps because the first poisoning attack was the most intense, Du Guyan was already unconscious. She didn't respond to any calls. The group carefully carried her back to her dormitory. Not long after, Du Gubo arrived anxiously. Seeing Du Guyan unconscious, even with his Titled Douluo strength, he almost stumbled. Yan, you must hold on, Du Gubo said, his brow furrowed, his face filled with sorrow, gently holding Du Guyan's hand. His son had already died from the jade scale serpent venom. If his granddaughter followed suit, he truly didn't know what courage he would have left to live. Did fate truly have to subject him to the pain of losing loved ones? Li Sun watched quietly from the side. Du Gubo was not at peace. Interrupting him rashly might lead to an argument. He needed to talk to the calmer Du Gubo, perhaps because it was her first outbreak. Du Guyan's recovery was slow. You all go back and rest first. I'll watch over her here. I'll call you when Sister Yan wakes up. After seeing everyone off, Li Sun returned to his room and saw Du Gubo coming out of the bedroom. Senior Dugu, has Sister Yan's condition improved? Li Sun asked in a deep voice. He and Du Gubo had discussed medicine more than once, so he didn't need to hold back. This was the persona he had always presented to Du Gubo. She's a little better, Du Gubo sighed. Kid, you should have noticed by now, right? Over the past few years, the two had had quite a bit of contact because of Du Guyan, and they often talked about issues related to poisons. He didn't know Li Sun's exact level of expertise. But sometimes, the concepts and knowledge Li Sun displayed even impressed him. It was just that Li Sun was too young, so he couldn't treat him as someone on the same level. Azure serpent venom, if you can't even see that, then all your years of studying medicine have been for nothing. Li Sun walked to the table, picked up the teapot, poured 2 cups, and offered one to Du Gubo. Du Gubo sat down, picked up the tea, and drank it all in one gulp. The Azure Serpent martial soul is incredibly domineering, not only harming the enemy but also the user. Only those who reach the Titled Douluo level can suppress the venom's outbreak, otherwise, they risk death at any moment. Li Sun refilled his cup. Only Titled Douluo can suppress it? Then isn't Sister Yan in constant danger? Du Gubo remained silent for a long time, then picked up the cup and took a sip. Yan's father died from Azure Serpent venom. And although I am a Titled Douluo, I have also suffered greatly from this venom. He lost his father in childhood, his wife in middle age, and his son in old age. Now, at 80 years old, he has endured decades of torment and has long since become indifferent to life and death. The only thing he cannot let go of is the bond of blood ties. Would you be willing to let this junior take your pulse? Li Sun frowned and pondered for a moment. Even if it's just a last-ditch effort, it'll do. How? Good lad. Then let's see how you can make me struggle. Douluo was amused by Li Sun's words. He and Yan Yan weren't even facing a life-or-death situation yet, and this kid was practically cursing him and his granddaughter. Douluo stretched out his arm in front of Li Sun. Take a good look. If you can't figure it out, I'll beat you up even in front of Ning Fengzi. Senior, please don't be offended. I misspoke. Li Sun chuckled. Li Sun slowly placed his fingers on Douluo's wrist, his expression changing constantly. Sometimes pain, sometimes a frown, sometimes a sigh. Douluo's eyelids twitched uncontrollably. You're treating patients, but can't you control your expression? Anyone who didn't know better would think I was dying. Li Sun ignored him. Senior Douluo, if I said I could cure your ancestor Yan's poison, would you believe me? Douluo was taken aback, somewhat skeptical. Kid, are you kidding me? I've studied poison for decades and haven't found a solution. Do you think you can surpass me after a few years? Li Sun chuckled. Senior, it's precisely because you've studied poison for decades that you can't. A doctor can't heal himself. Besides, I've only heard of divine doctors, never poisoned divine doctors. Indeed, based solely on his knowledge of the past few years, he couldn't cure the snake venom in Douluo and his grandson. But before studying medicine, he had read a book. That book directly provided a solution. What could Li Sun do? He could only silently accept it. That makes some sense. Tell me about it. Douluo nodded, seemingly agreeing with Li Sun's words, and his tone softened considerably. There are two methods. The first is to find a soul bone. Preferably one of the same type as your martial soul, or a soul bone from a poisonous beast. Force the toxins into the soul bone. Li Sun slowly extended a finger. Of course, this method only applies to Sister Yan. Senior Douluo's poisoning is too severe, and the toxins in his body are mixed. This method can only treat the symptoms. Of course, if you can find a legendary external soul bone, then disregard what I said. Chapter 39 almost went wrong. It does have some merit. Douluo's eyes lit up as he stared intently at Li Sun. Why didn't I think of that before? You're both foolish and wronged. Hai Baoding is an angel in the investment world, while you're a complete scapegoat. Li Sun glanced at the ceiling. However, this method also has drawbacks. The amount of toxins a soul bone can store should have an upper limit, and the younger the soul bone, the less toxins it can store. When the soul bone reaches its limit, the toxins will still erupt. Douluo stroked his chin and nodded. That makes sense. However, high-age soul bones are rare. If there's really no other way, we can only get Yan Yan a set of soul bones of slightly lower age, since survival is the most important thing. As for how to obtain soul bones, Douluo lowered his head and thought, a cold glint in his eyes. Soul bones tens of thousands of years old are indeed rare, but many people have slightly lower age soul bones. As for external soul bones, he didn't even consider them. Ahem. Don't worry, if you really can't find high-age soul bones, the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School is very willing to lend a hand. Seeing Douluo's cold gaze, Li Sun knew something was wrong. This old poison master was a ruthless killer. Perhaps he couldn't defeat other Titled Douluos, but for those below the Titled Douluo level, killing and extracting their bones was no problem for him. Li Sun quickly brought up the second method. Senior Douluo, you know that I've devoted myself to the Dao of medicine for many years, spending a considerable amount of money in pursuit of unseen texts. Although some say I'm extravagant, it seems to be paying off. Douluo looked up at Li Sun, waiting for him to continue. When Yan Yan brought the boy to see him, she said she had some questions about the Dao of medicine. Forced by Yan Yan's coaxing and considering the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, he gave him some pointers. Unexpectedly, Li Sun truly possessed some talent in the Dao of medicine, sometimes even able to confuse him with his own insights. The two became acquainted through these exchanges. Later, he even heard that the boy spent no less than 2,000 or 3,000 gold soul coins on books every year. I once flipped through a book that recorded 2 herbs. They are called 8-cornered mystic ice grass and blazing apricot blossom. Li Sun dipped his finger in tea and roughly drew a diagram on the table. However, these 2 herbs have extremely demanding growing conditions, only able to grow in extremely cold and extremely hot regions. If you want to find them, You can probably only find them in places like the far north and lava volcanoes. Upon hearing that the herbs grew in extremely cold and hot regions, and looking at the simple diagram drawn by Li Sun, Douluo's heart stirred. Little Sun, what are the specific effects of these two herbs? Li Sun chuckled and poured himself another cup of tea. They are extremely poisonous. Even harvesting them requires specific methods. However, if we can find them, and combine them with the first method, you and Sister Yan will no longer have to worry about the toxins. Haha, very, very poisonous indeed. You want to fight poison with poison? Douluo was taken aback, then chuckled. He was an expert in poisons, and immediately thought of the traditional method. Yes and no. Li Sun smiled and shook his head. It's too early to talk about these things now. Senior Douluo, you should find the herbs first, otherwise, it's just empty talk. Douluo's eyes flashed when he saw Li Sun only speak halfway through his sentence. From the previous conversation and the simple diagram Li Sun had drawn, he had roughly guessed which two herbs from the yin-yang well were involved. However, the effects of those two herbs were unknown, and they were extremely potent. Even with his soul power, he couldn't stay by their side for long. He couldn't imagine how Li Sun could use these two herbs to detoxify himself and Yan Yan. If this kid wasn't Ning Fengzi's disciple, he really wanted to tie him up and force him to reveal the method of using the two herbs. Douluo frowned and thought for a while, then pondered. I have a medicinal garden with two herbs that are similar to what you described. But are you really confident you can detoxify my grandson and me? Since you've mentioned it, I am naturally confident. Li Sun's expression became serious. Moreover, these two herbs are not something you and Sister Yan can use directly. I need to take them to dilute their medicinal properties, and then use my blood as a guide to prepare the medicine. You want to take them to prepare the medicine? Douluo was startled. Those two herbs are deadly if you stand by them for too long. This is also a way for me to prove the method works. Li Sun's expression was grave. If I die from taking the herbs, you won't need to try anymore. If I'm lucky enough to survive, not only can I detoxify you and Sister Yan, but I should also gain some benefits. Because he wanted to recruit Douluo into the 7 treasure glazed tile school, Li Sun spoke with 7 parts truth and 3 parts falsehood, appearing extremely sincere. Douluo was shocked. He hadn't expected Li Sun to use him as a test subject. Although the other party said there should be benefits, such unverified speculation was undoubtedly gambling with his life. Little Sun, let's forget about it. Think of other methods. Taking that stuff is almost certain to kill. If something happens to you, I won't be able to explain it to the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Douluo frowned for a long time, finally sighing. Being able to obtain the first method is already beyond my expectations. Douluo struggled internally for a long time, but in the end, gratitude prevailed, and he didn't want Li Sun to take the risk. No. Was I too sincere? I should have just told him half of everything, and he'd taken me to the ice and fire yin-yang well. Li Sun's eyes widened. He hadn't expected to go so far. Don't worry, I'll take care of things with this sect. Besides, I have confidence in my medicine skills. I won't die. Douluo was taken aback, but still shook his head. Xiao Sun, you're a good child, and your talent is even better than Yan Yan's. It's not worth taking such a risk. Li Sun quickly stood up, walked to Douluo, and grasped his arm. Senior Douluo, even if I don't eat it, I still have to see those 2 rare treasures. You should know the pain of someone obsessed with medicine who hears of them but can't see them. Besides, since your herb garden even has these 2 herbs, there's no guarantee that there won't be other herbs that can heal you and Sister Yan. Douluo's eyes lit up. Indeed, my herb garden has countless herbs. Who knows, there might be some I haven't recognized that can cure the poison inflicted on me and Yan Yan. Douluo was too embarrassed to say that he didn't recognize most of the herbs in the ice and fire yin-yang well. But since Li Sun knew about the 8-starred ice grass and the fiery apricot, it was possible she might recognize other herbs that could have the same therapeutic effect. Li Sun nodded repeatedly. Yes, let's set off now. I'll show you my herb garden. Douluo smiled and stood up abruptly. The two walked out of the dormitory gate one after the other. Douluo looked back at Li Sun. Walking is too slow. I'll fly you there. Li Sun's expression stiffened upon hearing this. He suddenly remembered the chill of the high altitude. Senior Douluo, I'll go back first. Douluo, excited, scooped Li Sun up before he could finish speaking. P.S. The plot will undergo significant changes after the ice and fire yin-yang well. The protagonist will not join Shrek Academy, and their level will skyrocket. I've been getting a lot of criticism lately about being a newbie, so I'm letting you know in advance. Chapter 40 The Yin-Yang Well of Ice and Fire. Li Sun took a swig of wind and let out a burp. He was being held close to Douluo's chest, shielding him from the wind and cold. I never want to be carried by anyone again. Sunset Forest was only 100 miles from the Heavenly Douluo Royal Academy. Li Sun had arrived in half a day's journey. Douluo carried Li Sun directly through the outer barrier of the ice and fire yin-yang well. After passing through the barrier, Douluo put Li Sun down. The two continued on until they reached a basin. Li Sun looked down. At the very center of the basin, smoke swirled and lingered. A pungent sulphurous smell assaulted his nostrils. A sulphurous smell? Is there a hot spring down there? Douluo chuckled. You little rascal, your nose is pretty sharp. Come on, I'll take you down. No, senior, I'll do it myself. Li Sun quickly refused. He couldn't stand it anymore. Without waiting for Douluo's reply, Li Sun used his instantaneous movement technique to move downwards into the basin. In just a few flashes, Li Sun had already reached the bottom of the basin. Good lad, your movement technique is so unpredictable. Douluo looked surprised and quickly flew downwards into the basin. About to see the legendary yin-yang well of ice and fire, Li Sun pressed on with excitement. Before long, as he drew closer, a pool of red and blue water appeared before Li Sun. Even the surrounding scenery was rendered in these red and blue colors, giving it a somewhat fairy tale-like feel. I didn't expect it to be the yin-yang well of ice and fire, Li Sun exclaimed. What yin-yang well of ice and fire? Douluo walked up from behind, looking at Li Sun with a puzzled expression. You didn't know? Li Sun, enduring the extreme temperature, pointed to the red and blue pool. This is one of the world's 3 great treasure basins, the most suitable place for herbs to grow, a veritable eye of ice and fire. Plants grow 10 times faster here. Moreover, only precious plants can grow here. Ordinary plants simply cannot adapt to this extreme environment. How so this place is so precious? I really didn't pay much attention to that pool. Douluo was stunned for a moment, then chuckled awkwardly after the initial shock. Ahem, kid, take a look. Are there any other herbs that can cure Yan and me from the poison? Li Sun smiled and glanced at Douluo. Senior Douluo, this is a paradise of rare treasures. I only glanced at it briefly and found 2 herbs that seem to be of divine quality. These 2 divine herbs, while they may not necessarily cure the poison in you and Sister Yan, can bring you a huge boost. Divine quality. Douluo looked at Li Sun in confusion. This is the first time I've heard of herbs being called that. Is there some mystery to it? Seniors have ranks, and so do herbs? Li Sun walked to a pale pink herb and picked it according to the description in the book. As soon as he held the herb in his hand, he felt a sense of relief. The effects of the environment near the ice and fire yin-yang well on him instantly diminished. Ordinary herbs can treat injuries and illnesses, rare herbs can strengthen the body, and legendary immortal herbs can bring the dead back to life and heal wounds. Of course, such immortal herbs are rare and require specific conditions to use. Li Sun carefully examined the herb in his hand. Take this immortal herb as an example. This immortal herb is called fragrant silk luo, although it cannot cure poisons. It is a nemesis of all poisons. Just having it with you will greatly reduce your poison skills. What? This large flower has such miraculous effects. Douluo was shocked. He knew this place was magical, but years ago when he came, he had risked taking herbs and nearly died. Since then, he had developed a sense of awe for the plants here. Even with some guesses about the effects of certain herbs, he dared not try them rashly for the sake of young Du Guyan. Although this immortal herb has miraculous effects, it doesn't offer much help to the Soul Master himself. While other immortal herbs are different, Li Sun slowly walked towards the ice and fire yin-yang well, pointing to a plant that resembled a raging flame. This immortal herb is called the fiery apricot blossom, which only grows in extremely hot environments. It is a highly poisonous immortal herb. The fire poison it contains would surely kill even a titled Douluo like yourself. The exact opposite is the 8-cornered mystic ice grass. Li Sun pointed to a herb from a frigid region. Douluo walked to Li Sun's side, his expression grave as he looked at the pure white herb. Is this the herb you said could cure the azure scale serpent venom in my body? But how can such a potent poison be taken? These 2 celestial herbs, though highly poisonous, counteract each other. Taking them simultaneously can neutralize the toxins, achieving a synergistic effect. Li Sun pondered for a moment, then decided to be sincere. If the user fully absorbs it, their constitution will be greatly improved, achieving immunity to water and fire. and ward off all poisons, Douluo frowned. Xiao Sun, if these two celestial herbs are from different years, can their medicinal properties still be balanced? With your talent and a bright future ahead, there's no need to take such a risk for me and Yan Yan. I'll collect a little from each herb later and test it. Douluo was deeply moved. He didn't recognize the herbs here, and Li Sun could have chosen not to tell him their specific effects, but instead demanded some benefits. But he didn't. Although Li Sun and Yan Yan were friends, what did friendship matter in the face of self-interest? Senior, if these two herbs are taken together, their medicinal properties will be balanced. If only a small amount is taken, even the slightest difference could be fatal. Li Sun slowly shook his head, looking at Douluo. Moreover, you cannot take this directly. Think about it, senior. After I take it, I can use my own blood as a catalyst to neutralize the toxins in your body. What would happen if you swallowed it directly? Completely eliminate the toxins from your body. Douluo's expression was grave. He had a poison pill within him, condensed using half his strength. If the medicinal properties dissipated the poison pill, his strength would be greatly reduced. Yes, then the potency of your jade serpent venom will likely be greatly reduced. Li Sun nodded, and seeing Douluo frown, continued, and don't worry, senior. There might have been risks if I had taken it before, but the ice and fire yin-yang well here can promote the absorption of the medicine, minimizing the risks. Douluo frowned and thought for a long time, finally shaking his head. Xiao Sun, you should wait a little longer. Now that we have the soul bone method, there's no need to take such a risk for the time being. Li Sun felt a headache coming on. He felt that nothing he said now would make a difference. Douluo had already made up his mind not to let him take any risks. Although it was for his own good, this sentiment made him feel very uncomfortable. Li Sun pondered for a moment, and suddenly a flash of inspiration struck him. Since Senior Douluo doesn't want me to take any risks, then let's put this matter aside for now. I'll take you to see the other two immortal herbs. These two immortal herbs also have a certain chance of removing the toxins from you and Sister Yan. Chapter 41 Li Sun is such a good child. Li Sun led Douluo slowly to the two herbs. One herb bore fruit like blood-red teardrops, while the other's flower bud resembled a vibrant red heart. These two divine herbs are called dragon's tears and dragon's heart's blood. According to records, dragon's tears are formed from the blood and tears of a dragon beast in its sorrowful moments, containing the essence of the dragon race. Those who consume it can use this essence to enhance their spiritual power. Li Sun pointed to the herb with the blood-red teardrops. It's especially effective for dragon-type martial souls. There's a chance it will evolve your martial soul. If your martial soul evolves, it might be able to remove the poison from you and Sister Yan. Most effective for dragon-type martial souls, with a chance to evolve. Douluo murmured, his face moved. His azure serpent martial soul was of the dragon type. Although not as pure as the blue lightning tyrant dragon, consuming this herb might greatly increase the quality of his martial soul. I'm already a titled Douluo, I should leave this to Yan Yan, Douluo said, his face filled with kindness as he thought of Douluo Yan. Senior, you have another one, Li Sun said, pointing to the heart-shaped bud of the immortal herb. It's formed from the blood of a dragon's heart, created when the dragon race suffered a severe injury, and its blood flowed back to earth. It contains a trace of dragon blood, and those who consume it can use this trace to enhance their physique and improve the quality of their martial soul. Li Sun recognized these two immortal herbs based on Yang Wudi's medicine book and continental rumors. Even the Tang sect's Zhuangtian Baolu didn't record them. This world has always had legends of dragons, although no one has seen one for millions of years. There are many rumors about dragon treasures. This one, let's leave it for Yan Yan too. Douluo held the two immortal herbs, a struggle flashing in his eyes. With two immortal herbs, I refuse to believe Yan Yan's martial soul can't evolve. Senior Douluo, please don't overthink it. Li Sun smiled, looking at Douluo. Immortal herbs are selective in their use, and their medicinal properties are astonishing. Absorption alone takes a long time. If taken at the same time, it might even have the opposite effect. Moreover, with Sister Yan's talent, taking one of them might not necessarily evolve her martial soul, but reaching the titled Douluo realm is still no problem. Is that so? Douluo shifted his gaze from the immortal herbs, turning to look at Li Sun. Does that mean that having more immortal herbs is useless? Immortal herbs are mainly for improving aptitude, and their medicinal properties are domineering. However, if you choose some herbs with slightly milder medicinal properties, you can take them at the same time. Li Sun looked around and found Xiaogang's 9th grade purple Ganoderma, presenting it to Douluo. This is called 9th grade purple Ganoderma. Although it hasn't reached the level of a celestial grade, its medicinal properties are excellent for strengthening the body and replenishing vital energy. You've suffered from toxins for years, leaving your body weak. After detoxification, you can use this to regulate your body. Moreover, this doesn't clash with the medicinal properties of celestial grade herbs. Xiao Sun, please don't call me senior anymore. You can call me Grandpa Douluo, like Yan Yan does. Douluo carefully took the purple Ganoderma, looking at Li Sun with a complex expression. Since arriving here, this child had only considered himself and Yan Yan, never his own. Moreover, he and Yan Yan were only 4 or 5 years apart, both possessing excellent character and talent. If he could become Grandpa Douluo with Yan Yan. Li Sun was overjoyed and quickly changed his form of address. Only now did he truly feel that he had grown closer to Douluo. Good child, Douluo smiled and agreed, gesturing towards the area around the ice and fire yin-yang. Well, since the extra herbs are useless, Xiao Sun, take whatever you like. Besides, you helped my grandson and me find such precious immortal herbs. Grandpa Douluo can also grant you one more condition. There were many herbs here, and there should be immortal herbs among them, but he didn't recognize a single one. Li Sun was a kind child. If there were truly any immortal herbs useful to him, he wouldn't hold back. Li Sun's eyes lit up. They say sincerity is the most touching. Truth is indeed true. To be honest, Grandpa Douluo, I do need some herbs, firstly for myself, and secondly for my teacher and the others. Li Sun looked at Douluo with bright eyes. He would definitely take all the useful immortal herbs this time, and being frank now was also to give an explanation for their future whereabouts, avoiding any rift between Douluo and him. Go ahead and take them. Douluo chuckled, and I've also mentioned the condition I promised you. Once this village is over, it's off. Since he had agreed, he was already mentally prepared. So, the young man has brought it up. Li Sun straightened his clothes, his expression solemn. Grandpa Douluo, I would like to invite you to join the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Upon hearing this, Douluo's smile faltered, and he fell into thought. He had lived a free and unrestrained life, and although he had no sect, no one on the continent dared to disrespect him. He had adapted to this kind of life. Becoming a retainer of the heavenly Dao royal family was merely to repay the kindness he had received in his early years. The royal family could not restrain him at all. But joining a sect was different. Although a strong person like him would certainly be treated well, he would also bear responsibilities. This was also a kind of constraint. However, considering that he was getting older, and that Douluo had no one else to rely on besides him, Douluo hesitated. Xiao Sun, your condition is really difficult for me. Let me think about it. Grandpa Douluo, the Broken Clan has already joined the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. If you join as well, our sect will definitely become even stronger. Li Sun said in a deep voice, my teacher once told me that with a spirit hall's ambition, trouble will inevitably arise sooner or later. With you two protecting us, Sister Yan and I will not fear such dangers. Douluo's heart stirred. He naturally knew the strength of the spirit hall. That broken chrysanthemum alone was extraordinary, not to mention the likes of the little ghost Douluo. If you were gone one day, facing the conflicts on the continent, Yan Yan would truly be unsafe. Xiao Sun, don't rush, let me think about it some more. Grandpa Douluo, this isn't urgent. I'll process these 2 immortal herbs into medicine for you first. Improving our strength is the most important thing. Li Sun smiled and took out a vessel from his soul tool. But suddenly his expression froze. Grandpa Douluo, I didn't bring everything. I might have to trouble you to go back to Xiaogang to get it for me. What do you need? Douluo quickly took out a pile of medicine-making tools from his soul tool. Li Sun looked at the pile of tools, his expression even more stiff. What I need, even you don't have here, What medicine-making tools do you not have? Douluo was taken aback. He was a master of poisons and usually made some common medicines. His tools were naturally complete. Grandpa Douluo, the method of refining immortal herbs is naturally different from that of ordinary herbs. Li Sun composed himself and then mentioned a few things that Douluo didn't have. These things, I didn't expect the method of using immortal herbs to be so special. Douluo gasped. As expected of a celestial medicine, even the tools used for its preparation are so obscure. If Xiao Sun hadn't been here, even if he knew the properties of celestial medicine, he would have wasted it. Having finally managed to get rid of Douluo, Li Sun breathed a sigh of relief and turned to look at the ice and fire yin-yang well. P.S. The sweet potato golden dragon and the ink jade divine bamboo have been written about to death. I created 2 original celestial medicines based on the Ice Dragon King and Fire Dragon King's demise here. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42 Impervious to water and fire, repelled by all poisons. This trip to the ice and fire yin-yang well almost ended because of Douluo's good intentions. It was still an unknown amount of time before he could absorb the 2 immortal herbs, and to avoid Douluo worrying about not being able to find him upon his return, Li Sun left a note in a prominent place. He instructed Douluo to prepare his clothing. Li Sun took out 2 daggers, 1 gold and 1 jade, from the soul tool on the ground. These were specially prepared for the 2 immortal herbs. The 8-cornered ice grass required metal objects to harvest, so he specifically bought a pure gold dagger to ensure nothing went wrong. The jade object needed for the fiery apricot blossom was also specially crafted by him. Li Sun walked to a suitable position and flicked his wrist. The 2 daggers transformed into 2 streaks of light, 1 gold and 1 white, shooting rapidly towards the 2 immortal herbs. As a half-god of the ninja world, Li Sun was very confident in his hidden weapon skills. Saying he surpassed Tang San might be boasting, but he was certainly a master of hidden weapons. As 2 streaks of rainbow light flashed, the 2 immortal herbs tilted and fell to the ground. Li Sun quickly used his wood escape technique to entangle them. Lacking practical techniques like the crane control and dragon capture technique, he could only use the most laborious method, slowly moving them towards him. The 2 immortal herbs each possessed extreme cold and extreme heat attributes. Ordinary trees couldn't withstand them for long. Li Sun could only continuously use wood escape technique to relay them, preventing the trees from burning or freezing. Although the process was somewhat tedious, the distance wasn't far, and he quickly brought the 2 immortal herbs to his side. The moment the 2 immortal herbs touched, the extreme cold and extreme heat attributes were instantly balanced. Li Sun quickly put the 2 immortal herbs into his mouth, not even bothering to taste them, and swallowed them whole. The instant the 2 immortal herbs entered his stomach, Li Sun felt a true sensation of both ice and fire. This domineering feeling was not something he could enjoy, so he immediately leaped into the ice and fire yin-yang well. The moment Li Sun entered the water, the medicinal properties of the 2 immortal herbs within his body were instantly activated. The extreme heat and extreme cold attributes combined to form an even more violent energy, constantly impacting Li Sun's meridians, making them more resilient and expansive. Had it not been for Li Sun's strong willpower and the self-healing ability of his wood release technique, he might have already suffered broken meridians and fainted. Even so, he was nearly collapsing. Enduring the pain, Li Sun opened his eyes in the water and adjusted his position to the very center of the ice and fire yin-yang well. He also glanced down at the bottom of the pool. Tens of thousands of meters below this deep pool lay the greatest opportunity of the ice and fire yin-yang well, the dragon soul and dragon bones. Unfortunately, with my current strength, it's impossible for me to go down there. Dispersing his thoughts, Li Sun circulated the 2 techniques. This was the peak of the medicinal effects. He planned to use this opportunity to try and fuse his chakra and soul power. He didn't know how much time had passed. The 2 intertwined forces within his body, compressed by the power of ice and fire, showed signs of merging. Li Sun was overjoyed. His 2 cultivation techniques circulated even faster, and he entered a state of semi-sleep. Time flew by, and it was already late at night. Douluo, his heart pounding, was rushing towards the ice and fire yin-yang well. The medicine-making tools Li Sun had requested were too obscure. He had to travel to many places to gather them. But considering the effects of dragon's tears and dragon's heart blood, he felt that this trouble was nothing. Without stopping, Douluo flew straight into the barrier from the air. Little soon, these things you asked for really took me a lot of effort. His voice preceded his arrival. Douluo laughed and landed near the 2 immortal herbs. Where is he? His smile vanished instantly, and Douluo quickly scanned his surroundings. What's this kid up to now? Douluo picked up the note left by Li Sun with suspicion. Upon seeing the writing at the top, he exclaimed in surprise, immediately turning to look at the pool. What? Xiao Sun's talk of using the ice and fire yin-yang well actually means jumping in. He had previously heard that Li Sun wanted to utilize the environment, but he thought it was just about meditating and cultivating. He never imagined it would involve jumping into such a dangerous pool. The temperatures on both sides of the ice and fire yin-yang well were extreme, even his soul power couldn't withstand it. How could Li Sun, a mere soul venerable, dare to jump into this pool? Douluo, anxious and disregarding the extreme temperature, hurried towards the pool. After this interaction, he had truly come to accept Li Sun. He estimated that Li Sun had likely discovered he didn't recognize the herbs here. However, Li Sun hadn't concealed the celestial herbs, choosing to tell him the truth. Actually, even if Li Sun hadn't told him, he could have had Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo bring him later. He could have easily taken all the celestial herbs without Li Sun's knowledge. But Li Sun hadn't done that. Even divine herbs couldn't arouse his greed. Douluo couldn't imagine how sincere Li Sun's heart must be. Good child, why are you doing this? Douluo stared at the pool, his hands trembling slightly as he clutched the note and Li Sun's clothes. If I had known, I wouldn't have brought you here, even using only the soul bone method. Yan Yan and I could basically guarantee our lifelong safety. Why did you have to risk testing the medicine again? He had lived to 80 before forcing the poison into the soul bone. Could having a soul bone really shorten his lifespan? Besides, now with 2 Dragon Seed divine herbs, Yan Yan wouldn't have to worry about breaking through to the title realm. Just as Douluo was feeling increasingly anxious, Li Sun's head suddenly surfaced. He then leaped, condensing chakra beneath his feet, and stood directly on the water's surface. Huh? Grandpa Douluo. You're back. When Li Sun saw the figure on the shore, he was immediately embarrassed and quickly dispersed the chakra beneath his feet, submerging half his body in the water. Grandpa Douluo, could you throw me my clothes? Douluo was feeling down, and was incredulous at Li Sun's sudden appearance. His eyes narrowed. Kid, you're not dead. I'm lucky, I won't die. Li Sun smiled awkwardly. Grandpa Douluo, my clothes, you still want your clothes? Seeing that Li Sun was alright, Douluo's anxiety gradually eased. A cold smile appeared on his lips as he waved the clothes in his hand. What did I tell you? I told you not to take risks, but you wouldn't listen. Since you can withstand the underwater environment, then stay in there a little longer. After saying that, Douluo took the clothes and walked to the side. Don't go. Li Sun didn't have the habit of taking a walk under the moonlight. He soaked in the water for an hour before Douluo calmed down and returned the clothes to him. Did you gain anything from this adventure? Douluo asked after Li Sun finished tidying up. I've gained a lot. Li Sun smiled and sat down next to Douluo. Although my soul power didn't increase this time, I gained immunity to water and fire and the ability to ward off all poisons. Moreover, the poison on you and Sister Yan can be cured with my blood. That's all. Douluo looked puzzled. This statement was too vague and mostly exaggerated. Chapter 43 Introducing immortal items to Douluo. His relationship with Douluo was progressing, and it wasn't exactly a secret. It would be revealed when he fought others. Let me put it this way, Li Sun said thoughtfully. Fire and ice attributes no longer pose a threat to my plants because my martial soul has gained immunity to both. Furthermore, my own soul power is mixed with both extreme heat and extreme cold attributes, although not directly reflected in my martial soul or skills. But if I wanted, I could completely achieve the same effect by changing the attributes of my soul power. This effect was an ability granted by 2 immortal herbs, something Tang-san had mentioned when he obtained the immortal herb. However, after eating the herb, he seemed to have forgotten about it, never using the extreme heat and extreme cold soul power within him. This resulted in the blue silver grass always appearing as a poisonous entity with attached soul rings. Douluo was astonished upon hearing this. Does that mean your plant-type martial soul has no obvious weaknesses? Li Sun smiled and nodded. Not only that, but all the poisons in the world may also be ineffective against me. Immune to poisons too. Douluo quickly coughed, likely to cover his shock. Young man, don't be arrogant. You must know that a soul master's strength doesn't just rely on attributes. He hadn't expected that Li Sun could not only counter soul masters of ice and fire elements, but even his own poison techniques were countered. However, as a titled Douluo, he naturally couldn't show weakness in front of a junior. Thank you for the reminder, Grandpa Douluo. Li Sun was certainly not so arrogant as to think he could challenge Douluo simply because of poison immunity. As his soul master level increased, his soul power gradually grew stronger, and a titled Douluo's soul power attack was something he couldn't withstand at his current level. It's good that you know. Seeing Li Sun's serious expression, Douluo smiled and nodded. Grandpa Douluo, please take out the grade 9 purple Ganoderma. While the medicinal power within me is still strong, I'll refine a foundation strengthening, energy nourishing, and detoxifying pill for you, Li Sun chuckled. Upon hearing this, Douluo carefully took the herb from his soul tool and handed it to Li Sun. Taking the herb, Li Sun took out a small knife and slashed his arm. A 2-inch long wound appeared instantly. Due to the large size of the wound, blood gushed out continuously. Li Sun quickly used a jade bottle he had prepared to catch the blood. This action made Douluo's eyes twitch, and he opened his mouth, about to say something. But then he saw that the wound on Li Sun's arm was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Douluo was shocked. This trip to the ice and fire yin-yang well had brought him far too many surprises. He had originally thought this was all the other man had to offer. But suddenly he realized that Li Sun might have even more talents yet to be revealed. Innate full soul power, erudite and knowledgeable, immune to ice, fire, and poison, and now with this healing ability, Douluo calculated Li Sun's potential in his mind. Any one of these talents would be enough for a soul master to stand out among their peers. And Li Sun possessed all of them. The 7-treasure glazed tile school has really struck gold. Douluo watched Li Sun busily working. He was certain that Li Sun would become a titled Douluo in the future. He knew that the Blue Lightning Tyrant clan kid was pursuing Yan Yan. However, he didn't want to interfere too much in his granddaughter's love life. After all, children and grandchildren have their own blessings. But now he felt that it was best for the elders to handle this matter. Because that Blue Lightning Tyrant clan kid didn't seem very reliable. When they returned, he would let Yan Yan and Li Sun get to know each other better. Li Sun's medicine making went smoothly. It was simply a matter of crushing a grade 9 purple Ganoderma, adding a few neutral herbs, a little of his blood, and then kneading it into a ball with starch. Finally, it was dehydrated using the intense heat of the yin-yang well, and the pill was ready. Good lad, you're fast at making medicine. Douluo smiled broadly as he accepted the pill from Li Sun. He had been a little distracted and hadn't seen Li Sun's process clearly. However, to be able to make medicine in such a short time, Li Sun must have exceptional talent in this area. Grandpa Douluo, take one pill every 7 days. After 3 months, it will neutralize the toxins in your body. However, this medicine is not suitable for Sister Yan. I'll make another pill for her after the effects of the medicine on my body weaken in a couple of days. Seeing Douluo's delighted expression, Li Sun smiled and said, Grandpa Douluo, since you have nothing else to do, I'll be scavenging for immortal herbs here, but I'll leave the roots behind. With the environment of the yin-yang well, these immortal herbs will likely grow again after many years. He didn't want to swarm in like locusts. It wasn't that he was acting on impulse. Rather, barring unforeseen circumstances, he estimated he'd only use the immortal items from the ice and fire yin-yang well once. Who knew how long it would take for these immortal items to regenerate? Leaving some roots behind was a surprise, a hope for those who would come after. Let's go, I'll come with you. Douluo quickly stood up. Is your soul tool enough? Do you need one? Mine can store living things. Douluo took out a small bag and shook it. No need, you can keep it for yourself. Li Sun knew the small bag in Douluo's hand was the famous Ruai Qiankan bag. However, he still extended his wrist and shook his golden bracelet. Douluo thought for a moment, smiled awkwardly, and put the Ruai Qiankan bag away. It certainly couldn't compare to the luxuries of the richest family. Let's go, I want to see what secrets this place holds. Douluo quickly took a few steps. He had been waiting here for years, and today he was determined to see how many unknown treasures were hidden here. Grandpa Douluo, this one is called Kiran Tongshan Chrysanthemum, and its effects are. Li Sun pointed to velvety chrysanthemum and explained to Douluo such miraculous effects. Douluo exclaimed in amazement. Grandpa Douluo, this one is called Kilo Tulip. Li Sun pointed to pale yellow tulip. Douluo clapped his hands. I knew it was extraordinary. This one is called Shuksan Yuji Gu. Li Sun pointed. Good stuff. Douluo smiled. This is Jigwen Fenghe Kui. Li Sun stepped forward and picked it directly. Very good. Douluo's smile faded, and he nodded. It's an 8-petaled immortal orchid. Li Sun glanced at Douluo's expression. Good. Douluo's lips twitched. Xiangxi Duan Shenghong. Douluo fell silent. He felt he shouldn't have come. It turned out that he had been guarding so many miraculous immortal herbs all these years without realizing it. If Li Sun hadn't explained it to him today, This place might have ended up in someone else's hands after he died. Grandpa Douluo, this celestial plant is called Crimson Swan's Kiss. Just as Douluo was filled with regret, Li soon pointed to a crystal clear, snow-white plant. This celestial plant has no nourishing effects. Li soon took out 2 pre-prepared pieces of cloth from his soul tool and wrapped his hands tightly. He then ran to the upwind side and carefully plucked the Crimson Swan's Kiss. Its effect is to amplify poisons 1,000-fold. Douluo's eyes lit up, his gaze fixed intently on the celestial plant resembling a swan's neck. Boy, if I take this celestial plant, won't I be invincible? His azure scale serpent venom was already one of the most potent poisons in the world. He couldn't even imagine 1,000-fold amplification. Grandpa Douluo, don't even think about being invincible. I'm afraid if you're downwind with this celestial plant, and even a whiff of its pollen, I won't even be able to collect your corpse. Chapter 44 Another Immortal Herb. Li soon chuckled, storing the snow swan kiss into his soul tool. Don't even mention the toxins in your body haven't been completely cleared. Even my seemingly healthy body has toxins present. If you're exposed to even a little pollen and your toxins are triggered by a celestial herb, immediate death would be a relief. Douluo looked on with suspicion. He was somewhat skeptical, but felt Li soon had no reason to lie to him. Don't doubt me. Keep this celestial herb with me for now. I'll give you an experiment when I have the chance. Douluo thought for a moment and reluctantly nodded. Based on his experience at the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well, he figured it was best to leave it with Li soon. If Li soon had it, he'd definitely be curious and study it. What if something went wrong? Alright, that's all I can recognize, but don't worry, my book-finding mission is still ongoing. I believe that as I collect more medicinal texts, I'll be able to recognize even more celestial herbs. I'll come back and help you identify more then. Li soon looked at Douluo with a mischievous grin. At this moment, the 80-year-old poison master could no longer control his expression. You brat, I think you're just trying to make a fool of me, Douluo sneered, rolled up his sleeves, and slowly walked towards Li soon. Oh no. Li soon was startled and quickly used his teleportation technique to create distance. I don't admit it, Grandpa Douluo, your poison hasn't been cured yet, don't get angry. Hell, I've lived all these years without incident, what's one more day? Douluo snorted coldly, today I'm going to teach you a lesson. Seeing this, Li soon dared not linger and rushed towards the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well. If you're so capable, then stay in the water. Douluo stood on the shore with a half smile, inwardly shocked. He discovered that Li soon could stand on the water's surface without using any soul skills or soul bones. This was something no one below the title level could do. He now desperately wanted to know what else Li soon could surprise him with. I was wrong. Li soon quickly lowered his head and apologized. He had accidentally gone too far and hurt the old poison master's pride. It seemed he could only wait for the old man's anger to subside. Knowing you're wrong is useless. Douluo shook his head with a smile and turned to walk towards the outer edge of the Ice and Fire Yin-Yang well. At the same time, he kept an eye on the situation behind him. Li soon didn't dare go ashore after seeing Douluo leave. He was afraid the other was fishing. He had learned this the hard way when he was a child. His parents always said they wouldn't beat him when he got home, but they ended up beating him even harder. We can only wait until the old poison's anger subsides. Li soon smiled. Then let's eat another immortal herb while we can. He took out the Qian Renxue chrysanthemum from his soul tool. This was the one he had chosen through a match 3 game. He definitely couldn't remove the acacia heartbreak red. He didn't know if his martial soul could evolve, so he let go of the kilo tulip. The autumn water dew enhances pupil techniques. If he had the Sharingan, Byakugan, or Rinnegan, he would definitely have chosen it. The coxcomb phoenix sunflower was somewhat useful. However, this immortal herb was extremely strong in yang, mainly for removing impurities from martial souls. He felt his martial soul shouldn't have this problem. He simply gave up on it. The 8-petaled celestial orchid's effects were long-lasting and too slow for Li soon's current situation. After all, his soul rings were designed for later stage power. He couldn't rely solely on them for the future, as that would be too frustrating in the early stages. Chakra cultivation wasn't as complex as the Taoist mysterious heaven technique's circulation path, and consuming the Narcissus jade bone clearing meridian unblocking would be wasteful. After much deliberation, the Qian Renxue chrysanthemum seemed to offer the most significant boost. After consumption, qi flows through the limbs, blood circulates through the 8 meridians, and one can cultivate the Vajra indestructible technique, Li Sun said, looking at the velvety chrysanthemum in his hand. Its effects are quite similar to the fiery apricot and the eight-cornered mysterious ice grass. Without further hesitation, he swallowed the heart of the chrysanthemum in one gulp, followed by the petals. He then tossed his clothes and soul tool onto the shore and plunged into the water. The Qian Renxue chrysanthemum's effects were domineering, far surpassing the gentle auxiliary immortal herbs like the autumn water dew. He would use the ice and fire yin-yang well to forcibly absorb its medicinal properties. Hearing the sound of water in the distance, Douluo smiled and shook his head. He took out a strengthening and detoxifying pill and swallowed it directly. Although the medicinal properties of the Qian Renxue chrysanthemum were domineering, they were far inferior to those of the eight-cornered profound ice grass and the fiery apricot. However, Li Sun had only recently consumed two immortal herbs, hence the slight pain. Fortunately, he was in the ice and fire yin-yang well and possessed the self-healing ability of wood release, so there was no real danger. The chakra and soul power within his body were also accelerating their fusion, due to the stimulation of the immortal herbs once again. Now, all that was needed was a trigger for these two powers to become completely inseparable. Feeling the medicinal power absorbed, Li Sun suddenly opened his eyes, feeling the surging blood and qi in his body. He leaped out of the water. My soul power is level 30, Li Sun sensed his soul power. There should still be some hidden soul power, which will only surface when I acquire a soul ring. When a soul master reaches the level cap, excess soul power within the body will not manifest until a soul ring is obtained. It will only be stored in the body. Only after acquiring a soul ring will excess soul power be revealed. I wonder how much time has passed, whether the old poisoner's anger has subsided. Li Sun changed his clothes and headed towards the outer perimeter. But before he even reached the outer perimeter, he bumped into Douluo. Perhaps due to the beginning of the detoxification process, Douluo's hair was no longer so deathly green. Kid, are you really that cowardly? You actually hid in the water for a whole day, Douluo sneered. How could I hide from you? Li Sun chuckled. I just swallowed a celestial medicine whose effects lingered, and I used the ice and fire yin-yang well to break through. Douluo was taken aback, carefully sensing the soul power fluctuations on Li Sun's body. You've reached level 30, Douluo's eyes narrowed. Lucky, I owe it all to the celestial medicine here. Otherwise I wouldn't have reached the soul venerable cultivation level so quickly, Li Sun chuckled. Good lad, then you must be the fastest soul master on the continent to break through to the soul venerable realm, Douluo exclaimed. Probably, haha, Li Sun chuckled in agreement, not daring to admit it. He knew that the fastest soul venerable on the continent was probably Qian Renxue. She possessed a divine level martial soul, awakening at 6 years old with level 20 soul power. Even if she infiltrated the Heaven Dao royal family at 9, those 3 years would have been enough for her to reach level 30. The reason Qian Renxue's soul power wasn't high later was also due to her infiltration. She didn't achieve anything significant, and it even delayed her cultivation. Li Sun thought to himself. Yes, that's right, there's no should about it, Douluo shook his head with a smile. Li Sun was sometimes too modest, but he quite liked that about him. Have you decided which spirit beast you want as your spirit ring? Douluo stroked his chin. If so, I'll take you hunting. We happen to be in Sunset Forest too, then I'll trouble you, Grandpa Douluo. Li Sun clasped his hands in a fist salute. My third spirit ring requires a sky green vine that is about 5,000 years old. Chapter 45 The Third Soul Ring. Zhi Lin, a member of the teaching committee of the Heaven Dao Royal Academy, possessed the azure vine as his martial soul. As a martial soul capable of growing to level 83, the plant's power was undeniable. Its characteristics included excellent extension, rapid growth, and resilience. This perfectly matched the attributes of Li Sun's second soul ring, the lonely bamboo. Both plants were fast-growing and incredibly resilient. However, one possessed a latent reproductive talent, while the other had an extension talent. Azure vine? Not bad, Douluo nodded. But choosing a 5,000-year-old soul beast as your third soul ring, isn't that a bit too risky? He knew he couldn't judge Li Sun by the standards of an ordinary soul master. But choosing a 5,000-year-old soul ring for the third was indeed excessive. Don't worry, I'm confident, Li Sun said with a smile. It's not that I'm worried, it's that I feel indignant on behalf of other soul masters. Douluo snorted lightly upon seeing Li Sun's cheerful smile. The two chatted and laughed as they walked towards the outer edge of the ice and fire yin-yang well. They were currently in the very center of the sunset forest. Although the location was advantageous, finding a suitable soul beast for Li Sun in the vast forest was difficult. The two searched for a long time, but the beasts were either too young or too old. Finally, Douluo grew impatient. He tucked Li Sun under his arm and took to the air. "Grandpa Douluo, I'm not in a hurry," Li Sun said, tilting his head back to avoid getting a stroke. "HMPH, still complaining," Douluo said with amusement. "Kid, once you become a titled master, even if you want me to carry you, I'll have to think twice." He didn't care about carrying him now. Li Sun rolled his eyes. He was feeling dizzy from the stroke. Just as he was considering whether to vomit on Douluo, he suddenly noticed a vine below them, slowly moving a spotted cat. "Grandpa Douluo, stop." Li Sun wiped his mouth and patted Douluo. "You've got pretty good luck, kid." Douluo didn't mind Li Sun's little actions. "This azure vine is collecting corpses as nourishment. If we follow this vine, we can find its main body." After Douluo finished speaking, he landed with Li Sun. The two didn't go directly to find the azure vine's main body, but followed the vine with great interest. This azure vine is indeed very extensible. This section alone is probably about 30 meters long. Li Sun nodded, watching the slowly moving vine. The reason he chose the azure vine was precisely because of this attribute. Although wood release has a similar effect, the wood itself is hard, the extension distance is not far, the speed is not fast, and the flexibility is insufficient. It is easy for a soul master to dodge it. The two followed all the way, and soon saw the main body of the azure vine. Judging from its age, this azure vine is probably close to 6,000 years old. "I advise you to be more careful." Douluo frowned when he saw the azure vine. "Do you remember my self-healing ability?" Li Sun chuckled. "This soul beast isn't even 6,000 years old yet. It won't kill me." He deliberately displayed his self-healing ability while refining pills, just to give Douluo a heads up so he would agree to let him absorb a soul ring beyond his level. Douluo was taken aback, then nodded, remembering Li Sun's self-healing ability. "It seems your second soul ring was also obtained using this method, right?" Li Sun chuckled without explaining. "Since you already have experience, I won't stop you." After Douluo finished speaking, his azure serpent martial soul appeared, and 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black soul rings appeared beneath his feet, 9 in total. Crimson Iron Python Constriction. As the second soul ring lit up, Douluo unleashed 2 streams of energy, transforming them into 2 dark green pythons that charged straight at the azure vine. Perhaps sensing the danger, more than a dozen vines suddenly extended from the ground around the azure vine, coiling around the dark green pythons with lightning speed. Li Sun was startled. He hadn't expected the seemingly ordinary azure vine to possess such a hidden power. Just looking at the sheer force of the vines, even a soul master would be doomed if entangled. Just as Li Sun was astonished, 2 giant energy pythons broke through the vine's blockade and rushed towards the azure vine's main body. With Douluo's strength as a titled Douluo, even using a low-level soul skill was something a mere 5 or 6,000-year-old soul beast couldn't withstand. Seeing the soul skill about to strike the azure vine's main body, Douluo quickly withdrew some of his power, avoiding a fatal blow. "Kid, you can finish it off now." Douluo slightly raised his chin, standing with his hands behind his back. Looking at the now limp azure vine, Li Sun nodded. "Thank you, Grandpa Douluo." Li Sun didn't step forward, but instead summoned his martial soul on the spot. Wood release, tree world birth. A dozen trees rose from the ground around the azure vine, quickly binding and entangling it. The azure vine's main body trembled slightly. Previously, it was always the one binding others, but today things had changed. It twisted and turned, extending outwards, and several more vines appeared on the ground, wrapping around the branches, trying to break free. Li Sun's heart tightened, and he increased the intensity of his spell. As the trees tightened their grip, the azure vine gradually lost its resistance, and the surrounding vines slowly slipped away. A purple spirit ring appeared above the azure vine. Li Sun turned to look at Douluo. "Kid, what kind of look is that?" Douluo was furious. "If it weren't for you, would it still be alive after I used a single azure phosphorus serpent venom?" "Grandpa Douluo, I didn't say anything." Li Sun's eyes were clear. He blinked and calmly walked towards the azure vine. This action made Douluo grit his teeth in anger. Li Sun walked to the spirit ring, summoned his martial soul, sat cross-legged, and used his soul power to guide the purple spirit ring. Drawn by the current, the spirit ring flew at incredible speed to the top of Li Sun's head, then suddenly shrank, transforming into a small ring that floated straight towards the thousand-handed Buddha. The moment the purple spirit ring clung to his spirit, a wave of pain instantly swept through Li Sun's body. The pain was like being submerged in boiling water or having hot oil poured on him. Li Sun quickly sensed his internal condition. He discovered a powerful energy surging through his body, relentlessly damaging his flesh and meridians. Luckily, this azure vine isn't 6,000 years old, otherwise I'd probably be in mortal danger, he thought. Beads of sweat covered Li Sun's forehead. Upon closer inspection, one could see faint traces of blood in them. The spirit ring's energy continued to damage his body. This energy was too immense, his self-healing abilities couldn't keep up with his injuries. Li Sun had no choice but to control his chakra, following the energy's path and carefully attempting repairs. This wasn't because Wood Release's healing ability was weak, but rather because Li Sun's training time was still too short, far from reaching the healing levels of Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha. After all, his training time, at most, was less than 2 kun years. With Douluo's cultivation level, how could he not see Li Sun's current state? However, no matter how anxious he was, he couldn't intervene at this moment. Boy, you have to hold on, Douluo said solemnly, one hand clenched tightly. Crack, a very faint sound came. Douluo's eyes narrowed, instantly summoning his martial soul, and he looked behind him. Who? Chapter 46. The first meeting with Qian Renxue. With his cultivation level, he shouldn't have allowed others to get so close. However, he had been preoccupied with Li Sun and had let his guard down. Senior, please don't be offended. My elder and I were merely passing through, we had no intention of spying. A bright-eyed, white-toothed, blonde-haired, snow-white-skinned girl appeared before Douluo with small steps. The girl was 18 or 19 years old, like a budding flower about to bloom. Although she still had room to grow, her appearance already revealed unparalleled beauty. Behind her stood a burly, red-haired man. This man wore golden armor, and his every move exuded a domineering aura. Douluo's eyes turned cold upon seeing the two, his soul power surged, and the 9 soul rings beneath his feet began to slowly pulsate. This was at the most crucial moment for Li Sun, and these two were so close. If they harbored ill intentions, it could lead to unimaginable consequences. Seeing Douluo's alarmed expression, Qian Renxue smiled and said, Senior, don't worry. My elders and I were just passing by. If we had any ill intentions, we wouldn't have waited until now. As she finished speaking, the burly, red-haired man behind Qian Renxue instantly revealed his martial soul, and 9 spirit rings appeared beneath his feet, 2 yellow, 3 purple, and 4 black. This man was also a Titled Douluo, but his spirit ring configuration wasn't as perfect as Poison Douluo's. He was missing a 10,000-year spirit ring. Douluo's heart tightened, his expression gradually becoming serious. He glanced at Li Sun's condition and slowly took a few steps back, approaching Li Sun. Senior, do you believe me now? Qian Renxue smiled, then ignored Douluo and focused her gaze on Li Sun. My little junior brother is growing quite fast. Qian Renxue knew Li Sun's aptitude and that his second spirit ring was 1,000 years old. She had been shocked at first. But as time went by and they had more contact, she gradually got used to it. In the past 2 years, Qian Renxue mostly went to the academy to talk with Li Sun and Ninjutsu about the situation on the continent and the spirit hall. They called it chatting, but her purpose was merely to test the 7 treasure glazed tile school's view of the spirit hall and to change the mindset of the next generation of the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Fortunately, her efforts over the past 2 years hadn't been in vain. Li Sun and Ninjutsu seemed to have lost their guard against the spirit hall. Xiaogang, that child is absorbing a spirit ring beyond her level. Judging from the age of the azure vine, it should be close to 6,000 years old, the porcupine Douluo whispered to Qian Renxue, his eyes narrowing. He was utterly shocked. To absorb a spirit beast nearly 6,000 years old with only her 3rd spirit ring, even Xiaogang, who possessed a god-level spirit, hadn't reached that level at level 30. This kind of person couldn't be called a genius, they should be called a monster. What? Nearly 6,000 years, Qian Renxue's beautiful eyes narrowed, her gaze passing over Li Sun to the azure vine behind him. Aside from commoners, most soul masters' 3rd soul rings were around 1,000 years old. That's why she hadn't thought much of it when she saw Li Sun absorbing a 1,000-year soul ring. However, Most Soul Masters' third soul rings were absorbed within a time frame of 1,400 to 1,700 years. Even the most gifted would only absorb around 2,000 years at most. Absorbing a soul ring that skipped 4,000 years was unprecedented on the continent. A second soul ring of 1,000 years, a third soul ring approaching 6,000 years. It seems I underestimated this junior brother. Qian Renxue withdrew her gaze and looked at Li Sun again. If she remembered correctly, Li Sun was only 10 years old this year. This cultivation speed, apart from her own divine level martial soul, was probably the fastest on the continent. If I could use him, Qian Renxue's eyes lit up, and she couldn't help but think. Douluo had been observing the two of them from the beginning, ready to intervene at any moment. Even the aftershocks of a battle between Titled Douluos would affect Li Sun. That's why he held back. When he saw the two whispering, he stared intently at Li Sun, his heart tightening. He was already prepared to unleash his strongest skill to buy time for Li Sun. The three remained locked in a stalemate for an hour. Li Sun exhaled a breath of stalemate and slowly opened his eyes. A nearly 6,000-year-old soul beast had exceeded the limits of his body's endurance. Fortunately, with the support of chakra and self-healing abilities, he was able to withstand it. He wasn't about to explode or be crippled by the energy. Even so, his condition wasn't good. At this moment, his body was covered with fine wounds. These wounds healed very slowly, as if they had exceeded the limit of his self-healing ability. Even chakra wasn't playing a significant role. He'd have to find a healing soul master when he got back. Li Sun thought to himself. Although this was a risky trip, the accompanying gains were exceptionally rich. At this moment, his soul power had reached level 34. He also gained an active skill extension. As long as his soul power was sufficient, he could control the plant to continuously extend outwards. His second soul ring's passive ability also saw a significant improvement through absorbing the azure vine. This substantial improvement likely stemmed from the effects of the Kirin Tongshan chrysanthemum. Li Sun only briefly sensed their presence before turning his gaze to the blonde girl and the red-haired man. He was startled to see 9 soul rings shining beneath the feet of the red-haired man and Douluo Grandpa Douluo. What's going on, boy? You've already absorbed them all. Douluo was taken aback, letting out a long sigh, his solemn expression softening. These two said they were just passing through. Now that Li Sun had absorbed all the soul rings, he no longer needed to worry. Even if a fight broke out, he wouldn't be afraid. Just passing through, Li Sun endured the pain and slowly rose, walking to Douluo's side. Do you two have anything else? With a blonde girl beside him, Li Sun already had a vague guess in his mind. However, everything that happened between Tang and the Spirit Hall was merely a microcosm of this world. The full extent of the Douluo's power is still far from being revealed. It's possible there are still wild Douluo out there. My elders and I were passing through this place when we happened to see this little brother absorbing a spirit ring beyond his level, so we stopped to watch. Please forgive us. Qian Renxue bowed slightly, feigning ignorance. Does this little brother belong to a sect? Seeing Qian Renxue pretend not to recognize him, Li Sun's mind stirred. Considering the relationship between Qian Renxue and Bibi Dong, and his future plans, he decided to bring Douluo into Qian Renxue's sights. I'm Li Sun of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, and this is my grandfather, Douluo, the Poison Douluo. So it's your excellency the Poison Douluo. My apologies for my rudeness. Qian Renxue bowed to Douluo again. Let me introduce myself. I am Qian Renxue, daughter of the former Pope of the Spirit Hall, and this gentleman beside me is the Spirit Hall's elder, the Porcupine Douluo, Sizu. The Porcupine Douluo nodded to Li Sun and his companion. Greetings, Miss Qian Renxue. Greetings, His Majesty Sizu. Li Sun quickly feigned surprise and bowed. His surprise was somewhat genuine. The Porcupine Douluo was a perfect counter to Douluo. Although Douluo was among the weakest of the Titled Douluo, he could at least put up a fight against others. But against the Porcupine Douluo, he was practically guaranteed to be defeated. If Qian Renxue harbored murderous intent, Li Sun became secretly wary. Upon hearing their identities, the Poison Douluo's eyes narrowed slightly, and he nodded without speaking. At this moment, he and Sizu were still holding back their auras, not concealing their martial spirits after exchanging greetings. Chapter 47. I'm just trying to calm her down first. Knowing the feud between Douluo and Chrysanthemum Douluo, the Porcupine Douluo feared the latter might harm Qian Renxue. Therefore, both were extremely cautious. Even when exchanging greetings, their soul power remained concentrated. Brother Li Sun, Please don't stand on ceremony, Qian Renxue smiled. I've stopped here because I see your astonishing talent and wish to make your acquaintance. She had already made her plans the moment she saw Li Sun. The reason she presented this appearance was to prepare Li Sun for the future revelation of Zhu Qing's identity. It's an honor, Li Sun said with a cupped fist salute. Regardless, he would go along with her for now. Brother Li Sun, you're too kind, Qian Renxue chuckled, getting straight to the point. Would you be willing to join the Spirit Hall? What the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School can give you, I can give you. What the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School cannot give, I can still give you. For the past 2 years, she had been using the identity of Zhu Qing to frequently interact with Li Sun. She knew the other party wasn't actually opposed to the Spirit Hall. In fact, there was a subtle intention to align the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School with the Spirit Hall. Although Li Sun was subtle about it due to Zhu Qing's status, she still understood. When they discussed the situation between the two major empires and the Spirit Hall, Li Sun only acknowledged the Spirit Hall's strength. She even subtly mentioned that the Spirit Hall would inevitably unify the continent. She frequently reminded Zhu Qing not to let the Heaven Dao Empire become enemies with the Spirit Hall. It was because of Li Sun's beliefs that Qian Renxue often visited him and Ning Rongrong at the Heaven Dao Royal Academy. Each time, she left the academy gates in a cheerful mood as Li Sun gasped, feeling a chill. So direct? Isn't poaching and defection usually about gradually making contact, offering small favors, and then showering them with money, women, spirit bones, and spirit rings? A back-and-forth exchange before a final decision? How come it's all just empty promises in her case? However, considering the power of the Spirit Hall and its soul-hunting operation, Li Sun felt he needed to appease her first. Thank you for your kindness, Miss Qian Renxue. But the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School has treated me well, how could I be so ungrateful? Li Sun paused, but the situation on the continent is unpredictable. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School might cooperate with the Spirit Hall in the future. At that time, it won't matter whether I join the Spirit Hall or not. Li Sun had his own considerations in saying this. Now that he had obtained the immortal herb, he had cut off Tang San's growth path, leaving no one to stand up against the Spirit Hall. And since he had no enmity with the Spirit Hall, there was no need for him to provoke them. Let the Spirit Hall unify the continent if they want. As long as Bibi Dong didn't truly intend to destroy the continent, it would be fine. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School was affected because it chose the wrong side. As long as it didn't oppose the Spirit Hall, it probably wouldn't cause any trouble. As for whether the Spirit Hall would still allow sects to exist after unification, Li Sun couldn't be sure. After all, in his memory, Bibi Dong's desire to destroy the continent was merely a dying thought. Her earliest idea was probably to destroy the foundation of the angel race and the Spirit Hall. The Spirit Hall and the angel god were essentially bound together. Li Sun guessed that Bibi Dong wanted to overthrow the Spirit Hall's faith in the angel race, causing them to disappear from history. Of course, all of this couldn't be based entirely on speculation and memory. Although Bibi Dong's experiences were pitiful, considering her ingrate and Yandir traits, Li Sun felt he needed to remain vigilant. After all, he had become an intruder, and the future had already changed. It seemed he still needed to find something for Bibi Dong and the others to do, to divert their attention, and not let them cause trouble while they were idle. It would also buy his side some time to develop. If things really didn't work out in the future, then he would have to take matters into his own hands. There weren't many normal people in that Spirit Hall. Li Sun's eyes gradually deepened. Li Sun's answer was exactly what Qian Renxue had expected. During their 2 years of interaction, Li Sun, while respecting the Spirit Hall, also frequently expressed his willingness to stand with the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. This was also why she valued Li Sun. He was loyal, righteous, and grateful. If Li Sun had accepted her offer the moment she extended it, he wouldn't have deserved her personal recruitment. Because such a person could betray the sect that nurtured him today, and could betray her tomorrow. Brother Li Sun, then I've been waiting for that day. Qian Renxue smiled brightly. The doors of the Spirit Hall are always open for you. She hadn't originally planned to win him over in one go. If all geniuses were so spineless, she might have been disappointed. Now, receiving similar words from Li Sun at the academy, she was already very pleased. This proved that Li Sun's true nature was like this, whether towards Zhu Qing or towards her, Qian Renxue. Thank you for your kindness, Miss Qian Renxue. I will also discuss this matter with my teacher, Li Sun smiled and nodded. Don't call me miss, just call me Sister Zhu since you're younger than me. Qian Renxue chuckled, then I'll be going now. Brother Li Sun, we can talk again another time. She waved to Li Sun and left with a porcupine Douluo. She didn't have much time this time. She needed to hurry back to Heaven Dao City after obtaining her spirit rings. She had waited so long for Li Sun because of his talent. And there was also Douluo boy. Is it really possible that the 7 treasure glazed tile school will join the spirit hall? Seeing the two leave, Douluo frowned slightly, a hint of hesitation on his aged face. He had some grudges with the spirit hall elders, Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo, and they had fought many times over it. Although he couldn't defeat them, the thought of being chased by them made him want to seek revenge. Grandpa Douluo, I just want to appease her first. The sect is unaware of this matter. Li Sun pondered for a moment. However, the spirit hall is powerful. It would be best to avoid conflict if possible. Powerful? I fought with that brat from Chrysanthemum Pass before. Douluo chuckled, somewhat dismissive. Even if the spirit hall has some hidden experts, with the 3 upper sects restraining them, how could they possibly rebel? Grandpa Douluo, you underestimate the spirit hall, and you underestimate the power of the world. Many of the medical books and classics I've read over the years are travelogues and anecdotes from across the continent. Li Sun's expression turned solemn. They record many figures who were once renowned throughout the land. However, these people all disappeared after joining the spirit hall. Through my extensive research, I discovered that these people still exist, and their cultivation levels are likely already among the Titled Douluo. Immediately, Li Sun listed all the Titled Douluo of the spirit hall. As each name was uttered by Li Sun, Douluo's expression grew increasingly grave. He discovered that many of these individuals were from his own era or the previous generation. The most famous among them was undoubtedly Golden Crocodile Douluo. When Li Sun mentioned Jin Daoliu, a limit Douluo, Douluo took a deep breath. Xiao Sun, there are some people among these I've never even heard of. How reliable is the information you've gathered? Douluo couldn't help but ask. It wasn't surprising. What Li Sun said was truly astonishing. Previously, while he held the spirit hall in some awe, deep down he still harbored a degree of disdain. He had a rather arrogant attitude, as if the spirit hall couldn't possibly do anything to him. However, today, Li Sun had overturned his previous understanding of the spirit hall. The origins of some people are shrouded in mystery, their roots untraceable. I'm still slowly investigating. Li Sun's expression was solemn, shattering Douluo's last remaining illusions, but the spirit hall does indeed have these people's names. Chapter 48 Douluo joins the 7 treasure glazed tile school. This, Douluo frowned, lost in thought. He hadn't expected the spirit hall to be so powerful, and his mind was in turmoil. These titled experts alone were enough to sweep through a nation. He didn't know who else could stop the spirit hall's advance. However, Li Sun couldn't help but chuckle at Douluo's troubled expression. He found the old poison master quite amusing. Every time he saw the other's shocked expression, his mood improved. But what? Douluo's heart skipped a beat, and he suddenly looked up, rolling up his sleeves to approach Li Sun. Kid, don't think I didn't notice you secretly spitting on me. If you can't give me a straight answer today, HMPH, ahem, although the spirit hall is strong, it's divided into 2 factions, the Pope's Hall and the Hall of Worship. Li Sun pursed his lips. These 2 factions have deep-seated conflicts, and it's difficult for them to unite except in matters of national importance or life or death situations. We only need to maintain good relations with one of them to ensure our own safety. Li Sun looked earnestly at Douluo. Grandpa Douluo, I've heard my teacher mention your grudges with the spirit hall. Do you hate the spirit hall or Chrysanthemum and Ghost Douluo? Douluo frowned, carefully recalling past grievances. I wouldn't say I hate the spirit hall, but Chrysanthemum Pass and that little devil almost killed me back then, and I feel a bit uneasy about not avenging them. Li Sun smiled. Since you have no ill will towards the spirit hall, why not be lenient for now? When the time is right, I can assure you, there will be a day when you can take your revenge. At that time, the life and death of Chrysanthemum Douluo and Ghost Douluo will be entirely up to you. Douluo raised an eyebrow, looking at Li Sun with a half smile. Kid, have you become a little arrogant now that you've become a soul master? Do you know the difference between a soul master and a titled Douluo? Of course I know. Li Sun smiled shyly. However, I'm confident I can catch up with you and fight alongside you. If you don't believe me, you can keep an eye on me at the 7 treasure glazed tile school, Pa. So that's what you were waiting for. Douluo laughed angrily at Li Sun's affected manner. You want me to join the 7 treasure glazed tile school that badly, but you can't make that decision yourself. Ningfengzi has to talk to me. After speaking, Douluo looked up at the sky, adopting the air of a superior being. Even before Li Sun cured him of his poison, he had already become open to joining the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Firstly, he saw Li Sun as a promising talent, and secondly, he was drawn to Du Yan. However, now that he knew the strength of the spirit hall, fighting alone was no longer advisable. What if one day Chrysanthemum Pass brought several more Titled Douluos to find him? Li Sun's eyes lit up. Grandpa Douluo, since you have nothing else to do, let's go back to the 7 treasure glazed tile school now. Since you're in such a hurry to go back, I'll see you off. Douluo glanced at Li Sun. Then, he swept Li Sun up to his chest and soared into the sky. Li Sun, looking somewhat unwell, sat on a chair in the main hall of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, watching Ningfengzi and the others converse. I must thank Senior Douluo for taking care of Xiao Sun. Ningfengzi smiled, sitting in the main seat and slightly bowing. Sect leader Ning. You're too kind. Xiao Sun has done me a great favor this time. This small favor is nothing. Douluo stroked his short beard. Ningfengzi's heart stirred, and he chuckled. Xiao Sun often mentions you. It's just a small favor, nothing more. Douluo smiled and shook his head. The poison in his body was no longer a threat. But this matter was not honorable and should not be publicized. Teacher, I would like to invite Grandpa Douluo to join the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Is that possible? Li Sun had recovered by now and, seeing that the two had run out of things to say, quickly spoke up. At the same time, he gave Ningfengzi a wink. Ningfengzi's eyes lit up, his smile widening. Xiao Sun, don't be silly. How can you be so disrespectful to Senior Douluo? Senior Douluo, please don't take offense. Xiao Sun is still young and doesn't understand such etiquette. It should be me, his teacher, who personally invites you to join the sect. Ningfengzi stood up from his seat and cupped his hands to Douluo's sword Douluo and bone Douluo. Upon hearing this, also smiled and cupped their hands to Douluo. It was a greeting as they were about to become colleagues. Haha, Sect Master Ning, don't underestimate your disciple. Douluo stood up and laughed heartily. This kid has put in a lot of effort in making our meeting possible. After everyone sat down again, Ningfengzi had someone change the tea. I wonder what Senior Douluo's requirements are for joining the 7 treasure glazed tile sect. A title is naturally not something one can work for free, but the 7 treasure glazed tile sect has plenty of wealth and can afford it. My grandson and I need a few poison attribute soul bones due to our own needs. Before we came, Xiao Sun mentioned that the 7 treasure glazed tile school was willing to lend a hand. I wonder if that's feasible. Douluo pondered for a moment. At his age and with his strength, money held much less appeal for him. Asking for soul bones wasn't to make things difficult for Ningfengzi, but because they genuinely needed them. After all, soul bones were rare, and finding the right one was even harder. Given the 7 treasure glazed tile school's size, they could collect them much faster than he could on his own. Moreover, he had the means to request a salary. Of course it's feasible. Xiao Sun is the future pillar of our 7 treasure glazed tile school. His words are never empty promises. Ningfengzi smiled and glanced at Li Sun. If it were other soul bones, I might have to put in some effort, but the sect does have poison attribute soul bones. I won't mention the younger ones. We have 2 that would be perfect for Senior Douluo and Miss Douluo. Ningfengzi felt relieved and immediately told Douluo about the soul bones. These were a 20,000-year-old left leg bone and a 30,000-year-old skull. These 2 soul bones were like ancient relics in the sect, valuable, but practically useless. Soul bones, except for those reaching 100,000 years of age, all required a specific compatibility. Poison attribute soul bones had too few users, so they were always kept as inventory within the sect, and I'll accept them without hesitation. Douluo nodded with a smile, quite satisfied with Ningfengzi's sincerity. Seeing Douluo's attitude, Ningfengzi immediately ordered someone to fetch the soul bones. Seeing Douluo accept them, the atmosphere among them became even more lively. With Senior Douluo joining the 7 treasure glazed tile school, it will surely reach a new level. Ningfengzi was in high spirits. Such a momentous occasion deserves celebration. I will soon send out invitations to hold an initiation ceremony for Senior Douluo. The 7 treasure glazed tile school already possessed sword Douluo, the ultimate attacker, bone Douluo, the strongest defender, and the breaking one sect, a core force. Now, With the addition of Douluo, invincible in group battles, Ning Fengzi couldn't even imagine how powerful the 7 treasure glazed tile school would be by the time Li Sun's generation grew up. Teacher, you mustn't. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, Transforming the Spirit Hall into the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. No need, Li Sun and Douluo interrupted Ning Fengzi's daydreams about the future in unison. They exchanged a glance, both understanding each other's thoughts. What's wrong? Ning Fengzi asked, surprised. Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo were also somewhat confused. A titled Douluo entering a sect deserves a certain level of respect. Any slight disrespect might be interpreted as a lack of regard. Furthermore, this was a way to demonstrate strength to other forces. Xiao Sun, you speak. I'll supplement if necessary. Douluo coughed lightly, covering his mouth. He didn't know much about the Spirit Hall, and had only just learned about their strength from Li Sun. Speaking rashly might cause unnecessary ridicule. It's like this. Li Sun immediately repeated what he had told Douluo because the 3 from the 7 treasure glazed tile school knew that Jin Daoliu was a limit Douluo. Li Sun's description mainly focused on the number and strength of titled Douluos in the Spirit Hall. Douluo also added information, sharing his knowledge of his contemporaries. So many titles, Ning Fengzi was shocked. He knew the Spirit Hall was powerful, Jin Daoliu alone was a fearsome figure. This was the reason he always emphasized the close ties between the 3 upper sects. Only Tang Chen of the Clear Sky sect could suppress Jin Daoliu. Now that the Clear Sky sect was closed off, a limit Douluo was left unattended, not to mention 16 or 17 titled Douluos. Just thinking about this situation was disheartening. It seemed he needed to contact the Clear Sky sect immediately, Ning Fengzi thought. Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo also frowned, their minds churning. Sword Douluo's frown was even deeper. His father, Chen Jianjin, a level 98 titled Douluo, had died from severe injuries sustained while challenging Jin Daoliu. Although his father had told him not to seek revenge before his death, how could he accept it? However, his current strength was insufficient. He hadn't even reached the level his father had defeated. He could only bury his desire for revenge deep in his heart, waiting for the day when he could, like his father, personally go to the Spirit Hall and meet that level 99 limit Douluo. But Li Sun's words today shattered his original assumptions. He might have to face not only Jin Daoliu, but also a host of experts from the Spirit Hall. After all, the Spirit Hall wasn't this powerful when his father challenged Jin Daoliu. If what Xiao Sun says is true, then we can only temporarily inconvenience Senior Douluo, Ning Fengzi said in a deep voice after a brief silence. I've been wary of the Spirit Hall all these years, but I never expected such a huge oversight in our intelligence. This allowed the Spirit Hall's strength to expand to this point without us noticing. Now that Senior Douluo has joined us, it can be a backup plan. I also need to contact the Clear Sky sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect to raise their vigilance. Sigh. The Spirit Hall is powerful now. Only by uniting the 3 upper sects can we gain a chance to breathe in this situation. Here it comes. Li Sun rolled his eyes. Today is the time to sever the ties. Ning Fengzi probably doesn't realize that getting involved with a Clear Sky sect will bring misfortune. Li Sun needed some time to develop. After all, even if he developed quickly, he wouldn't be a match for a titled opponent when the soul hunting operation arrived. Teacher, I've always had a question. What grudge does our 7 treasure glazed tile school hold against the Spirit Hall? Li Sun gathered his thoughts and slowly spoke. Ning Fengzi was taken aback, seemingly not expecting his disciple to ask this question. However, as his most outstanding disciple and the future pillar of the 7 treasure glazed tile school, he needed to let the other know about the state of the world and their family's grievances. Little soon, the Spirit Hall is ambitious and has long harbored ambitions to unify the continent, and there's also the grudge against your sword grandfather. Ning Fengzi glanced at Sword Douluo, and seeing him nod, he then recounted the grudges of his father's generation. So, as long as Jin Daoliu dies, we'll have no more grudges with the Spirit Hall, right? Li Sun pretended to think. Ning Fengzi was stunned. He hadn't expected Li Sun's thinking to be so simple and direct. Xiao Sun, things aren't that simple. Ning Fengzi's composure gradually calmed as he prepared to explain the implications to Li Sun. The spirit hall's ambitions are almost overflowing. Sooner or later, they will provoke conflict on the continent. Only by uniting the three upper sects and jointly resisting the spirit hall can we contain it before the situation becomes irreversible. Li Sun rubbed his face. Reasoning with someone with such a rigid mindset was exhausting, so he decided to use drastic measures. Teacher, what does the spirit hall's unification of the continent have to do with us? Ning Fengzi chuckled. Although his disciple was reliable, he was still too young to understand the implications. However, as his teacher, he needed to guide him at this crucial moment. The spirit hall's desire to unify the continent will inevitably lead to war with the Heaven Dao Empire, and our 7 treasure glazed tile school is located in Heaven Dao and has close ties with the royal family. If Heaven Dao is defeated, we might very well face a purge by the spirit hall. Li Sun frowned. Then why don't we just not help the Heaven Dao royal family? These nobles aren't exactly benevolent, let them fight if they want to. I've heard the saying help the strong, not the weak. With the spirit hall's strength, Heaven Dao is bound to lose. Why should we sacrifice ourselves for Heaven Dao? Besides, without our involvement, the war might even be shorter, and the harm to civilians could be reduced. It's always the common people who suffer in war, and the longer it lasts, the greater the harm to them. The war between the spirit hall and Heaven Dao isn't like a foreign invasion. Whoever wins wins, right? Would the common people suffer even more if the spirit hall unified the continent? Little Sun, you're oversimplifying things. Ning Fengzi frowned. He felt Li Sun's words made some sense, but something felt off. He sorted out his thoughts. After the spirit hall unifies the continent, it will inevitably see us as an unstable factor and thus consolidate and eliminate a major sects. When the nest is overturned, how can any egg remain intact? Teacher, I've thought of a plan. Do you think it's feasible? Li Sun pondered for a moment, seeing everyone looking at him. What if we pretend to join the spirit hall to avoid confrontation, and then find an opportunity to kill Jin Douluo, Chrysanthemum Douluo, and Ghost Douluo, avenging Grandpa Sword and Grandpa Douluo? Do you think it's feasible? Of course. Jin Douluo would have died by sacrifice even without anyone else's intervention. Li Sun said this to offer everyone a way out, a way to avoid a direct confrontation with the spirit hall. Otherwise, given Ning Fengzi and the others' concern and pride for their sects, even knowing the spirit hall's strength, they probably wouldn't back down. Silence. Everyone present fell silent. In their minds, battles between spirit masters require direct confrontation, and between forces, there was only conflict. They had never considered such an opportunistic method. Before they could finish their thought, Li Sun continued, Teacher, grandfathers, think about it, as long as we're alive, isn't everywhere the 7 treasure glazed tile school? With your abilities, can't you lead us to a place in the spirit hall? Once Rongrong, Sister Yan, and I grow up, with our 7 or 8 titled members combined, who wouldn't fear us? Turning the spirit hall into the 7 treasure glazed tile school wouldn't be out of the question. Chapter 50 Yang Wudi visits. Douluo's eyes lit up. You little rascal. He was growing increasingly fond of Li Sun, finding him quite reminiscent of his younger self. I was just thinking offhand, Li Sun chuckled, scratching his head. If his strength allowed, he wouldn't have used such a method. After all, Xiaogang had already provided the solution of using someone else's resources. Whether to confront the difficulties head-on or temporarily concede and accumulate strength depended on their choice. Ning Fengzi lowered his head, his brows furrowed. He was skilled in strategy, so how could he not know the feasibility of this method? However, as the head of a renowned sect across the continent, even though his allegiance to the spirit hall was a pretense, he would inevitably face gossip. Ning Fengzi glanced up at Sword Douluo, their eyes meeting. Sword Douluo nodded slightly to Ning Fengzi. He had already considered many things. One was the sect he had lived in for many years, the other the powerful spirit hall. In the end, emotion prevailed in this difficult choice. As long as he could have a one-on-one situation with Jin Douluo, joining the spirit hall wouldn't be out of the question. Silence. Although the group had their own thoughts, none of them wanted to speak first. Even Li Sun remained silent. This was a decision Ning Fengzi had to make himself. Even if they confronted the spirit hall head-on, it would only result in Sword Douluo losing an arm first, and almost all the disciples left to guard the sect being wiped out. Just as they were all waiting for the other to speak first, someone announced from outside the hall. Yang Wudi had arrived. Ning Fengzi and the others exchanged glances, feeling a headache coming on. The Po clan's conflict with the Spirit Hall wasn't as simple as theirs. Since the Clear Sky sect closed its gates, their clan had suffered considerable suppression from the Spirit Hall. Haha, Brother Fengzi, how have you been? Just as the group was silent, a hearty voice came from outside the hall. Immediately afterward, a tall figure entered the hall. Brother Wudi's visit is an honor for me. Please forgive my lack of hospitality. Ning Fengzi smiled, stood up, took a few steps forward, and bowed. The others also stood up from their seats. The 7 treasure glazed tile skull and Yang Wudi were partners, and Yang Wudi himself was a powerful figure. Respect was due. After a few pleasantries, Ning Fengzi introduced Yang Wudi. This is Senior Douluo. Yang Wudi's expression turned serious, and he bowed. Greetings, Your Majesty. A year ago, Li Sun had told him that Poison Douluo was discussing joining the sect with Ning Fengzi. However, after his partnership with the 7 treasure glazed tile school, it seemed as if nothing had happened. Sometimes he couldn't help but wonder if Li Sun was lying to him. Fortunately, today it finally came true. It seemed Li Sun was telling the truth. After everyone was seated, Ning Fengzi smiled and spoke first. Brother Yang, are you satisfied with this year's profit sharing? The two families had been cooperating on medicine sales for a year, but due to hasty preparations, they hadn't reached the originally anticipated $1 million annual profit sharing. A few days ago, he had sent someone to invite Yang Wudi to collect his share, but he hadn't expected the other party to arrive so many days early. Haha. If I'm not satisfied with an annual income of over 900,000 gold soul coins, then I'm being too greedy, Yang Wudi grinned. When they first cooperated, Li Sun had said there would be 1 million gold soul coins in profit annually. While they hadn't reached it yet, they weren't far off. This was only the first year of their cooperation. Once the trade routes expanded, Li Sun's estimate of 1 million gold soul coins was probably an understatement. I'm glad Brother Yang is satisfied, Ning Fengzi nodded with a smile. Yang Wudi hadn't explicitly joined the 7 treasure glazed tile school. Their cooperation was still based solely on mutual benefit. This kind of cooperation was very unstable for soul masters, as strength was paramount in the Douluo Continent, and gold soul coins were far too easy for someone like Ning Fengzi. Through their numerous interactions over the past year, Ning Fengzi had roughly grasped Yang Wudi's character. For such a powerful figure, money was important, but far less so than his inner convictions and the rise and fall of his family. Now that the Spirit Hall was unmatched in power, the 7 treasure glazed tile school was about to change its strategy. Yang Wudi happened to arrive. He felt it necessary to sound out Yang Wudi's thoughts beforehand, to avoid a sudden turn of events that might catch the other off guard and cause a conflict. Ning Fengzi considered for a moment, then said thoughtfully, Brother Yang, your timing is perfect. We were just discussing matters concerning the Spirit Hall. He immediately told Yang Wudi about the many hidden powerhouses of the Spirit Hall, omitting the part about Li Sun's plan to join the Spirit Hall. As the hidden strength of the Spirit Hall was revealed, Yang Wudi's expression gradually became serious. I didn't expect the Spirit Hall to be so well hidden. No wonder they were able to force the Clear Sky sect to close its doors, so they already knew about the other strength. Thinking of this, Yang Wudi's face bulged, and he gritted his teeth. When the Clear Sky sect fled, they didn't even say goodbye, leaving them to fight the Spirit Hall to the death. If the Spirit Hall was truly determined to destroy them, they only needed to send less than half of their titled members, and those 4 major single attribute families. Brother Yang, what are your plans after learning about this? Ning Fengzi asked softly. He needed to know Yang Wudi's thoughts to continue the negotiations. If Yang Wudi still harbored feelings for the Clear Sky sect, then there was no need to discuss the matter further. The two sides would continue their cooperation, but the 7 treasure glazed tile school would no longer invest in the Breaking clan. After all, once they aligned themselves with the Spirit Hall, the Breaking clan might turn against them. Yang Wudi was extremely troubled, unable to think of a solution. The Clear Sky sect was out of the question. Not only had they abandoned the 4 clans, but it was uncertain whether they would even dare to open their gates. The 2 great empires couldn't possibly stop so many powerful figures. The Blue Lightning Tyrant clan had been weak for a long time, and some of the lower 4 sects had already pledged allegiance to the Spirit Hall, while the 4 single attribute clans didn't even have a title. Thinking about it this way, the 7 treasure glazed tile school was still a powerful force, now boasting 3 titled Douluos. However, Yang Wudi looked up at the 3 sword Douluos. Compared to the Spirit Hall, The 7 treasure glazed tile school was still far too weak. Alice. It seems Brother Yang is also at a loss. Seeing Yang Wudi's expression, Ning Fengzi understood. When I heard about this, I felt just as helpless as you, Brother Yang. However, Xiao Sun has provided me with a good idea. Yang Wudi turned to look at Li Sun. What idea has this kid come up with? He had sensed that Li Sun was no ordinary person when they discussed cooperation. He hadn't expected that the kid could offer advice on such a major matter as the spirit hall. Li Sun chuckled and remained silent when Yang Wudi looked at him. He simply took out a celestial herb and examined it closely. Yang Wudi glanced at Li Sun, but his attention was still on Ning Fengzi. However, when he looked at Ning Fengzi again, he sensed something was amiss and quickly turned his head back to look at the herb in Li Sun's hand. Brother Yang, we plan to join the spirit hall. Ning Fengzi had been watching Yang Wudi's expression closely and noticed that he was attracted to the item in Li Sun's hand. He quickly spoke these words. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.